I'm Christine Lisi. The Jets today introduced new quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He said he's excited for what lies ahead in New York and is happy to be part of a team with a chance to win it all. He explained one big reason he chose New York was offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, his former OC in Green Bay. Starting tomorrow, Rodgers will be joining his new teammates for the offseason program, and that is huge, notes Fitz and Harry co-host Harry Douglas.
I think he understands the urgency of him being in that building with his teammates as the off-season training starts. He wants to get to know his teammates better. He stated that. He wants to put together fun events for team building. All of those things are huge for the New York Jets and also Aaron Rodgers when it comes to having success on the football field.
Regarding how long he might play for the Jets, Rodgers said he is only focused on this season. NBA Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard diagnosed with a torn meniscus. Within the next 2 weeks, he and the Clippers will decide on the course of treatment for the injury. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Kawhi set out the final 3 games of the Suns playoff series with what the team called a right knee sprain.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yep.
It's hump day.
Let us hump everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
LSU football lands a big, and I mean a big commit.
Hump day.
We got LSU baseball season-ending loss last night.
It's hump day.
For the second week in a row.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Now you're just beating a dead horse.
Hump day.
Shooting a dead guy.
It's hump day.
Really ending the season.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Saints draft odds.
Hump day.
We got our SEC spring recap looking at the Cocks.
It's hump day.
The Gamecocks, Muso. It's not funny. They have it on hats.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's what they call themselves, all right? Get your head out of the gutter.
Hump day.
I'm going to do with this guy.
So just because they have it on hats, that makes it okay?
Yeah.
Hump
It's in the
day.
Geneva Convention.
Well done.
It's hump day.
Mike Triplett in hour 3.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Oh, you know what day it is?
Hump day.
It's Christmas for the Otter.
It's hump day.
Cashing tickets left and right.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's get going. Wow. This is actually breaking literally right now. You can be a little breaking news sounder, Muse. Not a joke at all. Literally. Just breaking news. Our buddy Andrew Lopez, New Orleans Pelicans announced C.J. McCollum underwent successful surgery to repair a torn ulnar collateral ligament. That's the UCL in his right thumb. I didn't know you had a UCL in your thumb. Thank you.
It runs the length of your arm.
Thank you, Dr. Musa.
It runs the length of your arm.
No doubt. Glad
You're welcome.
Glad journalism school taught you about the UCL in your thumb.
That was actually baseball that taught me that.
Kick rocks, whatever. Was performed by Dr. Michelle Carlson, in New York. McCullum will not require surgery to repair torn labrum in his right shoulder. Okay, that's good. So surgery on the finger, not surgery on the shoulder. So get healthy and be ready to roll next year. Okay. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR. Ton to get to. Let's start with LSU baseball. We'll get to Trey Des Green in a minute. If you missed it, Trey Des Green, East Feliciana, one of the top players in Louisiana for this current recruiting cycle, committed to LSU just about less than an hour ago. I'll give you some thoughts on that coming up in the next segment. LSU baseball, they lose for the second consecutive midweek. A week ago, they lost to ULL. Last night, LSU loses to Nicholls out at the box. I mean, listen, you know my feeling on the whole thing. I'm not going to sit here and rant and rave and cuss because I don't care that they lost the game. Would I have preferred them to win it? Yes. Hell, half the SEC lost last night. Arkansas lost last night. Auburn lost last night. Kentucky, Texas A&M, tons of teams lost. Sometimes you lose baseball games. And I really just have to, just hat tip to Nicholls. They were fantastic. Defensively, they made so many plays. Well, actually, Jay Johnson, after the game, pretty much summed up the game perfectly in his post-game interview on the network.
Tip your hat to them on the defense. They took away several extra base hits. Their outfield played phenomenal. Obviously, it was a great play at second base, and they deserved to win the game tonight. They played better than us in all phases from the mound for sure, defensively and offensively. So they deserve to win.
LSU had 5 runs on 7 hits. Nicholls, I would say, with great defense, took away no less than 4 hits that would have been either extra base hits or scoring opportunities. It started in the very first inning. Dylan Cruz hit a ball to right center that Wes Toops, former LSU Tiger Wes Toops, made the running catch crashing into the wall. They actually reviewed it to make sure that he didn't trap the ball against the wall. It was a clean catch. That was one of a handful. Cade Beloso in the first inning blasted a ball to right field, right center, that if they had been playing in the Biddy Park in Oxford would have been a home run. Had they been playing in Oxford, Cade Beloso would have had 3 home runs last night. As it is, he had 1. But nonetheless, Nicholls made tremendous defensive plays all night long. The one that sealed it actually ended up on SportsCenter as the number 1 play in SportsCenter's top 10. The shortstop was made a running catch towards center field, back toward home plate. Dove made a snow cone catch. Jack Merrifield, who was on second base on contact, had broken trying to score what would have been ultimately the game-winning run. The ball was caught, and then Merrifield was doubled up at second base, and Nicholls won the game. So, seriously, hat tip. I mean, their coach, Silva, has done a fantastic job maximizing that team. LSU ruled them a month ago, and they came back to Baton Rouge last night and won the game. Yes, LSU was without Trey Morgan. LSU was without Tommy White. You had an odd alignment, as we talked about. You had Pearson in left. You had Ethan Fry getting the start in right. Travinsky got the start at catcher. There was no Trey Morgan. There was no Tommy White. You had Joe Barrett third. So, yeah, I mean, it was odd. And look, LSU kind of blew it. Defensive gaffe in the 9th inning allowed an extra run to score, which proved costly as, in the top of the 9th, you had the Jared Jones homer. LSU would load the bases. Pearson struck out. You had Cruz walk, bases loaded, 1 out, and that's when Beloso hit that sort of cue ball shot into shallow center where they made a fantastic defensive play. So, just hat tip, Nicholls on to the next, because there's much bigger fish to fry for LSU ahead, which is getting healthy and winning a series this weekend at home with Alabama coming in. Also after the game, look, Thatcher Hurd got the start, and we had been waiting on Thatcher Hurd to look like the guy that he was billed to be. I would argue we've really only seen that once this year, and that was that midweek start on the road at Texas, where he was fantastic. But last night, I would say, was the first time we saw Thatcher Hurd show progress. Here was Jay Johnson after the game on Hurd's performance.
Yeah, he did a good job tonight. That was, I would say, probably the bright spot. After that, we weren't very good out of the bullpen. And, to win 1-run games, you need big hits, and we didn't get that in the 9th. And, you need good bullpen work, and we didn't get either tonight.
Yeah, Cooper, Dutton, and Collins, none were very good last night, but that's kind of inconsequential in the grand scheme. You know which guys you can count at this point, or you feel like you know what guys you can count on. But for LSU to overcome the season-ending injury to Chase Shores and Garrett Edwards, although, again, they haven't announced Garrett Edwards' season-ending injury, but I'm telling you, Garrett Edwards isn't pitching again this year. You need guys to step up, and like we've talked about a good bit, Griffin Herring and Gavin Guidry, and some of the guys that have stepped up that, have filled that role for you, getting Ackenhausen back healthy, getting Bryce Collins pitching well again. You have enough arms. But Jay Johnson has said it multiple times. For this team to achieve what they want to achieve, they need Thatcher Hurd to be on the mound in big games and big spots for them. The stuff is very good. I have maintained that I feel he's just not right. And look, maybe it's something lingering from the back injury at UCLA a year ago, but it's the stuff is very good. He just can't command it, and generally that's mechanical. And maybe that's him favoring, I'm speculating here, the back injury from a year ago, whatever it may be. But if you're starting to see Thatcher Hurd command his stuff, then all of a sudden now you have a real weapon, be it in a starting role or out of a bullpen. You hope you don't need a fourth starter, but a situation could arise. You could certainly need a fourth starter in regionals or in the SEC tournament. You hope you don't need a fourth starter in regionals, but you could need a fourth starter in regionals if you get pushed to a winner-take-all Monday game. You certainly could need a fourth starter in Omaha. So Thatcher Hurd giving you 4 innings. Look, he walked the first batter of the game. He started him 3-0, threw a strike, and then walked him on a 3-1 count. And you can't help but have thought, here we go again. But he worked out of trouble and gave you 4 innings of 1-run baseball, struck out 5, walked just 2. So hopefully that's Thatcher Hurd building towards something very positive. Very similar to what we said about Christian Little a week ago, where he went 9 up, 9 down, then kind of fell apart in the 4th. But then he gave you a second consecutive solid outing this past Sunday. Can he continue to build upon that? Same question now for Thatcher Hurd. Good outing. Can you build upon it? We'll see as they move forward. So Tigers lose to Nicholls. They'll get some work in tomorrow. Day off today, they'll get some work in tomorrow, and then play on Friday against Alabama, coming in the box for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. Okay, it's After Further Review. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers. Always love telling you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. You can always get to the website at ShawBillsTire.com to find the Shawbills location nearest you. Go to ShawBillsTire.com. Again, I always encourage you to hit the promotions tab at the top of the page. You want to see all the great dealer specials that they have. You could do it there. You want to learn about the great offers that they have when you use your Shawbills credit card. I'll always encourage you to use your Shawbills credit card because they'll always unlock great deals when you use the credit card. And also, the first purchase you ever make, you get $50 off. So, for example, go to Shawbills, get an oil change, use your Shawbills credit card. Oil change is $50. I mean, they'll basically run the card for $1. You'll get an oil change for $1. It's at Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you. Shawbills. We keep you rolling. All right, y'all. Got a really good show planned. A lot of energy. I'm fired up tomorrow, of course, as the draft will be at Don Juan for our draft party. Invite you to come out and join us. Our staff will be there, and we'll be hanging out, and we'll be doing the draft companion show. So if you can't be there with us, watch along on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. All right, let me knock out a quick break. Brian Kelly and the squad pick up a big in-state commit just about an hour ago. We're going to talk about that when we return here on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, it's not too late to take advantage of the preseason AC tune-up. The thing I tell you about every single day here during this time of year. Now, they don't keep the preseason AC tune-up promotion running all the way through the summer. It's really a preseason preventative maintenance. So highly, highly, highly recommend, if you have not done so yet, call our friends at River City's 1 Hour Air. Get your preseason AC tune-up scheduled. An expertly trained technician will come out to your house. We'll get your AC clean, tuned up, running efficiently for the coming warm weather. I love sharing 5-star reviews. Here's one from Michael Jones. Said, my tech was superb in his delivery of professional service, earned my trust, courteous, answered my questions, was engaging and interesting to talk with. I take him every time, as there are not many as good as he is. I think his name was Devon. He's from Hammond, understands relationship marketing way better than most. That's from Michael Jones. Another 5-star Google review. River City's 1 Hour Air.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, Brian Kelly and his staff landed a big-time commit here on Wednesday, that both figuratively and literally. Not a gigantic surprise, but still, to get a player like this in the class for 2024 and to have that heavy lifting done right now is a big exhale. Trades Green, the 4-star tight end out of East Feliciana, who's a two-sport guy, plays tight end, is also forward on the basketball team, and has a basketball offer as well. He has committed to LSU as a tight end, doing so at a ceremony at his school earlier on Wednesday, actually, just a little more than an hour ago from right now. This is significant for an awful lot of reasons. First of all, just a few of the details. So Trades Green, a consensus 4-star. He is nationally ranked the number 59 overall player in the country. He's the 3rd best tight end in the country, the number 2 player in the state of Louisiana for 2024. So when you're talking about getting one of the top players in your state, who's one of the best at his position in the entire country, and then on top of that, you're looking at a position that Brian Kelly really values, this is certainly very significant. So a couple of things. Last year, when Brian Kelly got the job, and we were looking at the top players in Louisiana, one of the things that caused a little bit of a melt was when Arch Manning committed to Texas and Derek Williams, the 5-star safety, committed to Texas. And you knew you weren't going to get Tackett Curtis, who ultimately signed with Southern Cal. Eli Holstein picked Alabama. There was, we had the conversation, and it was a fair conversation to say, look, you have to look at each player as its own test case and not the class as a whole. But the question was, was Brian Kelly really going to be able to make enough of get enough of a foothold and keep the best players in the state home? Well, we know how they finished. You end up getting Lance Hurd. You get Shelton Sampson, obviously out of Catholic High. You got Caleb Jackson out of Liberty, the running back. You got Kylan Jackson, the safety, out of Zachary. Of course, your quarterback, Ricky Collins, out of Woodlawn. So you did end up getting 5 of the top 10 players in Louisiana signed in last year's class. There were some high-profile players you didn't get, but some you knew you weren't getting. Like, you weren't getting Arch Manning. You weren't getting Eli Holstein. So some of that you knew, okay? So you flip and look ahead to this year, to 2024, and say, okay, now that Brian Kelly's had a full year, and this is a full recruiting cycle, how is he going to be able to recruit the top players in the state for this year? So getting Trey'Dez Green, who's the number 2 player in Louisiana for this year, is very significant. Now, Dominic McKinley out of Acadiana, which has been a defensive lineman, has been very good to LSU. Acadiana has. He's uncommitted. Tylen Singleton, 4-star linebacker out of Manny, also uncommitted. That's the number 1 and 3 players in the state. The top 3 committed players in Louisiana for 2024. Trey'Dez Green, LSU commit. The 4th best player in the state is Deshaun McBride out of Denham Springs, committed to LSU this weekend. And Kalaj Cobbins out of Destrehan, the linebacker, who's also an LSU commit. So 3 of the top 5 players in the state are already committed to LSU, and those are the only 3 committed. And by the way, the 6th highest rated player in the state is Wardell Mack, the cornerback out of John Ehret, and 100% of the crystal balls have him ultimately picking LSU. So, and that's not to even include a guy like Juwan Johnson, who had been committed to Colorado and decommitted this past weekend, and it's likely thought he's going to end up at LSU. So all of the questions we had a year ago about Brian Kelly recruiting the state and keeping the best players home, you're starting to check those boxes and answer those questions, which is fantastic to see. The other thing that I think is very significant with respect to Trey'Dez Green is the position he plays. I know we've gone over this before, but it bears mentioning again. Brian Kelly, during his time at Notre Dame, was most known for recruiting, developing, and putting into the NFL draft 2 positions, tight end and offensive line. That was primarily where they had their most success. And when you look at the tight ends, dating back to 2011, you had Kyle Rudolph, Tyler Eifert, Troy Nicholas, Ben Koyak, Durham Smythe, Alize Mack, who the Saints picked, Cole Kmet, who was a two-sport guy. Saw him pitch against LSU as well as playing that bowl game. Tommy Tremble. You got Michael Mayer, who played for Kelly and is going to be a first-round pick in this year's draft. He recruits and develops tight ends and pumps them into the NFL. Then you look at what they did this past year with Mason Taylor. You go and get a 3-star that wasn't highly recruited, but Brian Kelly and his staff loved the prospect. They put some weight on him in the offseason, and at what was a gigantic position of need, Mason Taylor became a key contributor for you as a pass-catching tight end as a freshman, and now you look ahead and you're really optimistic about what he's going to be for you the next 2 seasons. The problem LSU has right now, as we've talked about, is tight end depth. You've got Mason Taylor, and then you signed 3 other tight ends. Mac Markway, the 4-star out of Missouri, Jackson McGowan out of Ohio, and Kamorian Pimpton, who is out of Texas. So you've got 4 scholarship tight ends going into 2023, but 3 of them are true freshmen. And Mason Taylor's just going into his sophomore year. So they are stockpiling at that position. And it's easy to see how, if you look ahead to the 2024 season, Mason Taylor will be a junior. The 3 guys you sign this year will all be sophomores, and you'll have Trey'Dez Green coming in as a freshman. Well, considering the way the transfer portal world works, it's unlikely and unrealistic to think that all 3 of the freshmen you sign this year are all going to be back for their sophomore year. And 2024, very likely, could be Mason Taylor's last year in Baton Rouge if he's a 3-year guy to the NFL. So, yes, you need to stockpile at that position, and you have a guy that's the highest rated at his position in your state, the second highest rated player in the state of Louisiana, third best tight end in the country, and he's 15 minutes from LSU's campus. Yeah, I want Trey'Dez Green. The other question that a lot of people ask is, because he's a two-sport guy, is Trey'Dez Green a guy that may come to LSU and try to play both? We talked about that with Shea Dixon earlier this week, and there are athletes who have tried to play 2 sports during their time at LSU. But generally when you've seen it, it's been Trendon Holiday, where it's worked. It's been Trendon Holiday running track, and Benny Brazel running track and playing football. From time to time, you've seen like a Chris Jackson punt for LSU and play baseball as well. It's rare that you've seen it work like it did for Jared Mitchell, for example, who was a receiver and then also became a first-round pick as an outfielder. Chad Jones is notable as well, but even Chad Jones didn't commit fully to baseball. The point is, the basketball-football thing is rare. Marcus Spears tried to do both, and he's famously told the story about going and doing basketball conditioning, and that lasted about a week, and he was like, yeah, I'm good. Ronald Jones was a 2-sport guy. We've seen some try. It just very rarely sticks because of the demands of both sports. So we'll see what Trey'Dez Green elects to do. Does he try to play both at LSU? Can't answer that right now, but he will be on scholarship for football, which means that's the first priority, and that's where he'll come in and try to help Brian Kelly and the squad in 2024. And you can now look ahead to to this LSU class, and it's shaping up very nicely for 2024. Right now, they're the ninth highest rated class in the country, with 14 commits and still plenty of work to do, and that doesn't even count for what will be ultimately transfer portal additions as well, because as we know now, you really have to look for a combined ranking of your high school signees and your portal ranking when the portal window comes and goes. So a lot of time still to go before that November signing period, and then ultimately adding guys in the portal for the February period after this 2023 season ends. But a big one here on Wednesday is Trey'Dez Green, second highest rated player in the state of Louisiana for 2024, has committed to the Tigers. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out here. Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. Had a meeting over at Mockler earlier today. Cool to go see some guys over there. Christian Lockett, your former Tiger, working at Mockler now as well. Had a great meeting with our friends over there. And I was pulling in. I drove up in the Atlas Cross Sport today. I actually turned some heads. They're like, man, a new whip over there? I'm like, yeah, man. It is a gorgeous vehicle, man. It looks sharp. It looks stylish. I tell you all the time, man. You get the style and the feel, the performance of luxury. It's a luxury-looking vehicle without the cost. If you have never test-driven a Volkswagen, just put it on your list. Go test drive one today or go to the website, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. For South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right. Man, we got a lot to do. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Taylor Calandro, Little Bourbon Dictionary in about 17 minutes from right now. Coming up to start hour 2, Vegas has put out odds for not necessarily the player, but for what position the Saints will draft at 29. So we will get to that coming up in about 30 minutes. So it's not just the highest odds for but the odds at taking any position. So there are some things we can glean from that, and we'll get to that here in about 30 minutes from right now. Glad you're bored with us. We'll go around the SEC next. Stick around.
AFR.
Hey, if you're looking for something to do on Saturday, ProCharge EV's got an awesome tailgate event going on out at the original Walk-Ons, noon to 6. There will be crawfish for purchase, of course. There will be cash bar, live music, and they'll have EVs out there. So if you've been curious to get a look at an EV, maybe sit in one, feel it, just see how it all works, there will be EVs out there as well. So again, this Saturday, noon to 6, a ProCharge tailgate party. It's the Tailgate event, as they're saying, capital EV is an electric vehicle. You get it? This Saturday at Original Walk-On. So if you're getting out to watch LSU Bama on Saturday in baseball, or you're just looking for something to do Saturday afternoon, come on out to the Original Walk-Ons. Live music, including the Chase Tyler Band, in noon to 6. Going to be a lot of fun. Come eat some crawfish, drink some beer, hang out with the fellas and the whole gang over there, listen to some live music. It's this Saturday at the Original Walk-Ons. Remember, it's not too late. The EV Charger giveaway, you can enter through Sunday. Learn more at ProChargeEV.com.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, Taylor Calandro here in about 10 minutes. Little bourbon dictionary. Look forward to that. I'm excited about the draft tomorrow. It'll be a good day. We'll have the draft watch party at Don Juan tomorrow night. We, of course, invite you to come out tonight, every Wednesday. Trivia over at Pluckers. Both locations, 7:30 Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. We, of course, always throw out a few questions for our guy, Mr. Musso over here. Musso, I need to check and see. Hold on. We haven't looked at it yet. Let's see.
Last week, 2-1. That was decent.
Let's see.
Missed the Twigs
okay.
question.
Here are your questions for today. Yeah, you have no shot at that.
Okay, good.
Oh,
Probably not.
Maybe.
If it's taking you that long, probably not.
No. You have a shot at number 2.
Okay.
You have a shot at number 2.
All right.
Yeah, and no shot at number 3.
All right, so we're looking at 1 and 2 today.
At best, you're going 1 and 2.
Okay. I might surprise you there. Every now and then I pull one out of nowhere.
No way. Not with this one. No way. I feel like I know you and I know your strengths and weaknesses well enough at this point. Nick Saban. Did you see it?
No.
Throughout the first pitch at Alabama's game yesterday?
Oh.
Let's give this a look if we could. How do you think Saban would do here? Can we go boxes or back screen or something, Paulie? I don't know how we need to make this work, but I'll rewind it for you so we can get it. I'm curious. How do you think he would do here, Muse?
Not great given is he 70 now?
70,
yeah. Not great given that.
All right, hang on. I'm going to pause it.
But, I actually think Nick could throw a bait. Like, if Nick would have thrown out if we're talking about, like, LSU age or Michigan State age Nick Saban, I think he does pretty well.
Here's my thing. Saban is 70 years old. He comes from a baseball era of baseball fans are old.
It's true.
Nick is an old white guy. I guarantee he can throw a ball. Now, Nick has had hip replacement. He's had lots of surgeries. He was a DB, all that sort of stuff in his playing days. He's on the bump, but notice he's not toeing the rubber.
It's okay. He's 70.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. Come on.
We forget. 70.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So I think, have you seen it?
No.
Okay, I haven't either. I know he did it. I've seen still shots. I haven't seen the whole video yet intentionally because I wanted to do this live. All right, let's see how he does. All right, here we go. Nick from the mound, but not from the rubber. Okay, here we go. And okay.
Not bad.
He got it there.
Yeah.
He needed an effort to get it there, but he got it there.
A little bit of a loop to it as well.
Well, again, he's
70.
70 years old. I don't think we're, the explosive athletic days of Nick Saban are a part of yesteryear now, but not bad. So he didn't embarrass himself. I'll say that. Like, he didn't become memeable with that. He's not the mayor of Cincinnati or 50 Cent or Mariah Carey or what are some of the other terrible ones in history? The one, who was the guy that hit the cameraman in the back with the
who was that?
I don't remember who it was. And
I
then,
feel like it's been multiple people, actually.
And then Nick goes and shakes hands with every single member of the baseball team lined up. Look at that. What a guy. What a guy, that Nick.
I kind of wish he would have done it in his straw hat.
Yeah, good call. I think he just wears that for practice, though. Did you read Ross Dellinger's story last year about the straw hat?
I don't know if I did. I don't think I did.
Really well done.
Oh, I bet that was very good, actually. Yeah.
Deli did a piece on the genesis of Nick's straw hat to give it away when he had that boating accident at his Georgia lake home. Busted his head, had stitches, had to wear the hat to protect the stitches and all that sort of stuff. And it just became a part of his
thing.
His ward just became just became his thing. And actually, Michael Bonnet has the original straw hat in his office. Part of the story. Go look it up. Deli did the story for SI last year. It was really good. He did a really good job with it. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC here in just a quick second. Let me remind you about DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. You got NBA playoffs every stinking night. And the DraftKings Sportsbook is letting you get in on the action tonight. Knicks against the Cavs. Knicks can close it out. Lakers can close it out tonight in Memphis. Miami can close it out tonight in Milwaukee. How about a Game 5 with Golden State and Sacramento with that series has begun? It shifts back to Sacramento. Make a $5 pregame money line bet. If you hit, they'll give you $150 in free bets. That's for new customers when you use the promo code Baton Rouge. Again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. New customers, use the promo code Baton Rouge. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. If you want to do a same game, no sweat, same game parlay, you got to opt in. You can make that bet all throughout the NBA playoffs as well. All the details are there. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in required. One bonus bet issued based on amount of initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537. All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Vanderbilt Commodores.
The spring portal window, as you know, is open. It closes on Sunday, and there is a lot more movement here in the portal window. Vandy, defensive back, Jadaeus Richard has entered the transfer portal. True freshman this past year, played in 11 games with 1 start. He was a projected starter at cornerback for Vandy in 2023. He's hit the portal, the first Commodore player to hit the portal during the spring window.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
After just 1 season in Lexington, defensive lineman Tomiwa Durajaye has entered the transfer portal, originally from Delaware. Hi, we're from Delaware. He signed with Kentucky as a 3-star prospect in 2022. He was the 985th best player in the country, the 131st best defensive lineman. Had offers from a ton of small schools. I'm not going to sit here and list them all. 6'4", 278, played in just 3 games for the Wildcats last season. 3rd Wildcat to enter the portal here in the spring window.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
First scholarship player from Carolina to enter the portal during the spring window is defensive lineman Demetrius Watson. He was a 3-star, played this past season at Carolina as a redshirt freshman and did not appear in a game during his Carolina career. As we mentioned, it was a rough day on the diamond for a lot of SEC schools, not just Los Tigres. Georgia lost at home to Georgia State 9-7. Tennessee crushed Bellarmine 19-1. Florida beat North Florida. Louisville went into Lexington and blanked the Wildcats 7-0. Alabama beat Samford. In the Governor's Cup, it was Mississippi State beating Ole Miss 2-1. Troy beat Auburn at Auburn 8-7. Texas A&M lost at home to Sam Houston 9-2. You know LSU lost to Nicholls. And 7th-ranked Arkansas went on the road and got doubled up by Missouri State 8-4. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, it is After Further Review. We are glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll do some Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, where, by the way, shout out to our friends on the North Shore. Rouse's is having the grand opening of the Rouse's in Mandeville. It is tomorrow, starting, of course, May the 4th, next Thursday. May the 4th, next Thursday, the Rouse's grand opening for our friends over there on the North Shore. But in the meantime, remember, Rouse's weekly specials. Make sure you're following them on Facebook, or you go to rouses.com. You can always get their weekly specials. Right now, value pack on quarter loin pork chops. You can save $2 per pound. Large green bell peppers, 3 for 99 cents. Boneless chuck shoulder roast, best price in town on the USDA Angus Choice, raised in the USA, right now at Rouse's. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, where they've got fresh flowers, they've got fresh seafood, an amazing bakery, and darn near anything else you could want. It's at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Let's do it. Get your booze questions in on a Whiskey Wednesday. Taylor Calandro joins us. You can email us, tweet us, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or text your question in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. How are you, dude?
Good. I just got off the Peloton. You been Peloton, Matt?
You know what? I actually had a 3-day streak going. And so I work out at Traction 3 days a week on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And I've been trying to fill in the days when I'm not at Traction with a Peloton ride. But quite honestly, I did set my alarm. I got out of bed, and I had back pain this morning. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to. Like, when I slip discs in my back, it's very negative. So I was smart enough to say I'm going to take the day off and just relax and rest, and I'll get back on it tomorrow. So
yeah, good for you. Your body needs it sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I need it. We need to get a new picture of Taylor, by the way, too. Since Taylor has been Pelotoning, how much have you lost? Like 50 pounds?
Like 55 pounds since last February.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, so the picture we have of you on the screen, like, I'm going to say this, very affectionately because we're good friends. I'm just going to say it.
No, I was fat.
You're fat-faced, and it's, and you're not anymore. Like, it's like I don't even really recognize you. You look like a different human, which is great. Like, congrats. That's awesome. But we do need.
I feel a lot better.
We need a better. We need to get an updated picture. So we need you to send Paulie something like a headshot or something we could use.
I can do that. Okay. I mean, y'all got access to social media too. So, but yeah, I can do that. Yeah, we can make that happen.
What's new?
We got the Parish beer that I talked about last week, the extra sauce.
So hey, I was at real quick. Have you tried it yet?
I have not got a chance to try it yet, no. Have you tried it?
So I was at Mockler today, and I went into Brian's office, and he had a 4-pack sitting there. I was like, oh, I want to try that. So he just popped 2 of them off and handed them to me. So I haven't had them yet, but they're in my office here at work, and when we're done, I'm going to drink one. So I'm looking forward to it.
I almost texted you earlier to come to the studio, and I was going to bring one of those. I did not get a chance to do that.
Great. Thanks. Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Been busy. Sorry.
That's all good.
Maybe next week.
So, all right. So that what's it called again? It's
extra sauce.
Extra sauce.
It's a lemonade shandy. So it's basically, I think it's a golden ale with lemonade mixed in.
So y'all have it in. Is that something that you think is it's limited and would go quickly? Like, is that something where beer people are going to come find it and get it quickly and you'll run out?
That's a really good question about this beer specifically, because I was looking at this beer earlier, and I'm like, it's a shandy. It's not like a hype IPA, like that flies off the shelf, but it's a parish beer, and parish beers generally go pretty quickly. Now, I don't think this is something that's going to just fly like one of their one-off double IPA or IPA releases, but I'm interested to see how it is, because there's not a lot of representation of this style locally. It's more of an old school style. And I don't know if it's making a resurgence or what it is, but I'm kind of interested to see. This is going to be a good case study to see how this style goes.
Okay.
So I don't know how to answer that question for this specific beer.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to try it. As you know, like I can get down with a domestic lager and eat some crawfish, or just, pop a cold one. But I love drinking local craft beer as well, and there's a lot of ones doing good ones. And I remember we had the Parish beer last year. They did, wasn't it like No Slaw or something like that?
No Slaw Extra Toast, but that was an IPA or a double IPA. I can't remember. I think it was just a regular IPA.
Okay. Well,
I can't remember.
All right. Looking forward to trying this one. Anything new on the whiskey side of things?
Not really, no. Okay. Not in the past week or so. No, it's been a pretty vanilla week. So this time of year, it's generally pretty slow. And then, a couple weeks ago, we got a good pop of some things, but it's nothing really to report on this week.
Good time to get questions in. You can email it, tweet it at Matt Moscona, jump in the Byford YouTube chat on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel, or text your questions in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Let's start with one from John, who said, "Hey, Taylor, when are you going to get Juvie Juice in store?"
Man, I don't know. That's that Urban South collaboration they did with Juvenile, and I have not heard if it's coming distribution or not. So I'm going to check on that when I get off the phone with you, actually, because somebody else has asked that on the show before, too.
That is, let me see. I'm pulling it up right here.
It's Urban South out of New Orleans with Juvenile out from Cash Money Records.
So wait, it says it's a hard iced tea. What does that mean?
That means they're trying to go after the Twisted Tea customers.
Got it.
It's just I'm assuming I don't think it's an iced tea with any kind of spirit or anything like that. I have to see what kind of beer it is, because Urban South doesn't produce spirit, so I'm sure it's an iced tea style beer.
Your ability to stay focused with the madness at your house is impressive.
He turned 2 on Saturday, so it's just.
Greg Lavins had asked Taylor, what whiskey should I choose to drown the sadness from midweek losses?
Oh, God, I watched that. That was one of the goofiest baseball games I've ever watched in my life last night, to be honest with you.
Credit Nicholls. Defensively, they were fantastic.
They played out of their minds defensively. I try to tell my wife, because my wife loves LSU baseball too. These in-state teams are coming here like it's the Super Bowl, and we're just trying to get guys work. And I don't know if people quite understand that.
Yeah. Let's just move on. I've had that. Yeah. I don't want to go down that.
You can drink ice water to get through a midweek loss. It's a midweek loss.
Right. Craig Duke said, "Ask Taylor, in the world of mixed drinks, what in your opinion is the best to bring out Island Hanny tomorrow for the draft party at Don Juan's?"
Island Hanny? What I don't even know what that means.
Oh my God, that's so. During COVID, we did our draft watch party. We did it via Zoom, and Charles Hannegriff, in quarantine, was wearing
that virtual Zoom, bro.
He was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, a straw hat, and he was unkempt, let's say, hadn't shaved in quite some time, and he had been hitting the bottle quite heavy, and it was the unintentional comedy scale was off the charts that night, and so that he's been referred to now as Island Hanny.
I've done a little whiskey tasting on I think it was Jay's show. Wow, like probably a year ago with Hanny, and it was incredible, because he just did not even know what he was putting in his mouth.
He's a guy. All right, a couple more actual questions. Patrick, we got less than a minute. Patrick McKenzie, do you have the Stone Cold Steve Austin bourbon?
No, I've heard of it, and I've heard he's got a beer too, but I didn't know he had a whiskey coming out. No, I don't have it.
All right. Well, actually, the last one is, did you see Ben Mintz completed the 10K today? 17,000 race for Hogs for the cause. That's awesome, man. Good on
the 10K today.
He did a 10K today.
Like
and
solo 10K.
He had to do it in under an hour to unlock some donations from some of the Barstool guys and all that stuff. So that's awesome.
That's incredible that man can do a 10K in under an hour. If he can do a 10K in under an hour, anybody can do it.
Taylor, I'm telling you, man.
He doesn't look like he's the most in shape person on earth to me.
It's the weirdest runners. It's the weirdest thing in the world. There are some fat dudes that can just flat out hit a pace and just run. It's a weird thing. All right, we got to go. Taylor Calandro from Calandro's. Thanks as always. We'll talk next week.
All right, Matt. Thanks.
All right, be well. It is after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Sports Center's coming up when we come back. Vegas odds on what position the Saints are going to draft at 29. That's next here on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Mold Zero. Love telling you about Jim Woodworth. Love telling you about the great work that they do, primarily because they're obviously helping people be safe by eliminating mold and removing odors and all that sort of stuff, but also because they're going to save you thousands of dollars. If you have mold and you're thinking, man, I'm going to have to cut sheetrock, I'm going to have to pull out carpet, I'm going to have to move furniture, I'm going to have to be out of my house for an extended period of time. No, you're not. No, you're not. Just call Mold Zero. I mean, in a typical situation, they're in and out in a day, less than a full day. They come in, they spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. It's super easy. They let it dwell. It'll kill the mold, kill all the spores as well. As soon as that fog dissipates, boom, you go back in your home, your office building, free and clear, mold-free, smelling great. It's Mold Zero. Call today for more information or log on to mold-zerousa.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside off the bench anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Plenty of smiles today as the Jets introduced new quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He explained part of the reason he wanted to play for New York, the coaching staff, and his familiarity with offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett from their days in Green Bay. He also called himself an old guy, happy to be part of a team with a chance to win it all. He told reporters that starting tomorrow, he'll be part of the Jets' offseason program. Rodgers was also asked if he'll play for New York beyond this season.
Right now, I'm just going to focus on this season, and I'm excited about being here. I expect to be here for the duration of the offseason, and I'm excited to get to know my new teammates and the coaching staff and the organization. And obviously, I have a background with Coach Hackett in that offense, but I'm excited about just diving in and being a part of this group.
Aaron Rodgers. NBA, Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard diagnosed with a torn meniscus. He and the team will decide on the course of treatment within the next 2 weeks, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Rockets today introduced new coach Ime Udoka. Blue Jays outfielder George Springer left today's game after being hit on the right hand by a pitch. The hand was bruised. X-rays did not reveal any fractures.
Coming up Thursday, as the first round comes to a close, has my opinion of who will win the title changed? Wait till you hear my answer. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2. Off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. One of the most pleasant surprises in the Southeastern Conference a year ago was South Carolina, year one under Shane Beamer. How do they build upon it? We continue our SEC spring recaps. We'll head up to Columbia, South Carolina here in about 15 minutes from right now. Catch up with our guy, Jay Phillips. That's coming in just a bit. Mike Triplett next hour as we'll talk Saints on the eve of the draft. We are on the eve of the NFL draft, and Las Vegas odds are out on what position the Saints will take in round one. And also, today was the day where Mickey Loomis made his standard pre-draft press conference. I feel like we talk about this every year, and while I do understand that Mickey Loomis and every coach and GM is contractually obligated to have a pre-draft press conference, it is a insane waste of time because you spend months and months and months and all this money and resources on putting together a draft board and everything of the like, and then on the eve of the draft you're supposed to give away your strategy. It's just so stupid. Like, what are they like? Here was Mickey Loomis. Play number 3 if you would, Muse. It was asked, are there any musts? Like, not once or are there any musts in this draft?
I think there's some things that we'd like to have. I don't know that I would call any of them musts. I think we've done a pretty good job in this offseason of taking a lot of those musts and turning them into wants or needs in our vernacular.
Yeah. You got 2 defensive linemen. 2 of them. You got 2 of them. 2. You must add more defensive linemen. That's not negotiable, debatable. You must add defensive linemen. We'll let you hear more from Mickey Loomis in just a second, but Vegas odds are out for this draft and what the Saints will do at 29. And again, it's not necessarily a player, but they give the odds on what position the Saints will draft. And what should be no surprise to anyone is the fact that defensive line is by far and away the best odds for the Saints at number 29. the Saints are minus 120 to take a defensive lineman. So if you look for those who maybe don't sports bet or understand the vernacular, you'd have to bet $1.20 to win $1. The next best odds are offensive linemen at plus 300, meaning $1 would win you $3. So it is dramatically in favor of the Saints taking a defensive lineman with the first pick, and then offensive line is second. And that also should come as no surprise. You took an offensive lineman a year ago with Trevor Penning, but Andrus Peat took a reduced contract to stay. What's your long-term plan with Cesar Ruiz? That's certainly fair. And is Trevor Penning going to be your starting left tackle? That could certainly happen if he beats Hurst this year. So you could have some flux and fluidity on that offensive line. And also, when we look at the Saints all time, the Saints draft linemen. And I'm okay with that, by the way. Like, what's the old cliche? Games are won and lost in the trenches. Yes, quarterback matters. But look, I mean, last year you drafted Trevor Penning. In 2021, Peyton Turner. 2020, your first pick was Cesar Ruiz. 2019, your first pick was Eric McCoy, offensive lineman. 2018, your first pick was Marcus Davenport. A year before that, you had 2 firsts. You took Lattimore and Ryan Ramczyk, an offensive lineman. 2016, your first-round pick was Sheldon Rankins, lineman. 2015, first pick was Andrus Peat, offensive line. You get the point. The Saints value the line of scrimmage. They always have, and so it's not in any way surprising that New Orleans would be favored to take a defensive lineman because that is their true must in this draft, whether Mickey Loomis wants to say it or not, or offensive lineman. Interesting is what comes after that, however, and I think this is maybe where if a weird situation unfolds, and weird situations unfold in the draft, where you might get something unexpected. Here's what I mean. They've got wide receiver as the third best odds at plus 600. Right behind that is tight end at plus 700. A lot of speculation that maybe Darnell Washington from Georgia, Michael Mayer from Notre Dame, if they're on the board and the Saints see great value in those players, they could take best available at that position. I wouldn't put it past the Saints to do that. And then there's quarterback at plus 1,000. So, by the way, followed by cornerback at plus 1,200, running back and linebacker at plus 2,000, and safety at plus 3,300, essentially saying, well, I think the Saints do need a safety. There's just not going to be a safety on the board at 29 that they would take. That would make sense there. So the one-off that I think could be interesting, and I'm not telling you I think this happens, okay? But from time to time, draft day comes, and one surprise starts a domino effect. And you see that most commonly at quarterback. We saw it a year ago. The entire world was convinced Malik Willis was going to be a first-round pick. There were some people who had Malik Willis as the first quarterback taken in the draft last year. Might sound silly now, but that was the conversation a year ago at this time. Malik Willis was a first-rounder. When we were sitting at Don Juan and Minnesota trades back into round 1 at pick 32, everyone and their grandmother was convinced they were coming back into round 1 to take Malik Willis at 32. And Malik Willis dropped all the way into round 3. So sometimes there are things we think we have figured out, and it's primarily at quarterback, but the draft starts to unfold, and the best laid plans of mice and men, as they say, often go awry. Aaron Rodgers. I've done this so many times over the year. You go back and look at mock drafts before that draft, Mel Kiper and the like, they all had Aaron Rodgers as a top 5 pick. Brady Quinn. By the way, Aaron Rodgers went 24th. Brady Quinn was a projected top 10 pick on everybody's board. He went 22nd. My point is, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if you're looking for, okay, what scenario could unfold whereby a player starts to free fall and the Saints are in a position maybe to take him, and I think it's C.J. Stroud. Again, I want to be clear. I am not projecting that C.J. Stroud is going to tumble to the Saints at 29. But if you're looking for a scenario that could unfold, what we've seen representative in the Vegas odds the last couple of days is pretty clear. You've got quarterback-needy teams at the top of the draft. If Bryce Young goes 1 and Will Levis goes 2 to Houston, if Houston's not sold on Stroud and they take Levis instead, and you're looking at a team like Indianapolis, which is going to draft a quarterback, and they covet, let's say, Anthony Richardson over C.J. Stroud, where do you see C.J. Stroud then coming off the board? Some have speculated maybe at 8 to Atlanta. Maybe they drafted a quarterback a year ago and they seem to be committed. At least that's publicly been their stance. I don't know that I necessarily believe that. But once you get past a certain point, you're talking about teams in the draft that aren't looking at quarterback. And if that's the case, how much longer does Stroud wait? Now, chances are what would happen is a quarterback-needy team would jump up and take him if they felt like Stroud was the number one player on their board and he's sitting there at 10, 12. You go get the top player on your board at 12, that's great value even if you have to give up picks for it. That's where I could see something like that unfolding for New Orleans. I can't see, the Saints moving into the top 10 to take Anthony Richardson or something along those lines. But if you saw a player start to slip, that's where it could potentially happen, where the Saints might pull the trigger on a quarterback in round one. Again, I want to be so abundantly clear. It's why those odds are plus 1,000 for a quarterback. I don't think that's what's going to happen. But that's the scenario that over the years we have at times seen unfold with quarterbacks who end up sliding. The wait just becomes longer because the spot where you thought they'd come off the board, they don't. There's a shakeup, and then they end up having a long wait. That's something that could potentially unfold for New Orleans. So I still think New Orleans is going to pull the trigger on a defensive lineman at 29. I think they stay put. The only way I could see the Saints moving up is if a player like Jalen Carter, someone that they may feel is like the best player at his position in this draft, falls and they could make a move. I'll remind you again, last year the Saints tried, even after having traded up already, they tried to move up into the top 10 last year to get J.C. Horn and to get Patrick Surtain. So nothing is out of play for New Orleans. Listen, Mickey Loomis was asked also about their philosophy in trading up. It's number 7 if we could hear. This is what Loomis said today about their philosophy of trading up.
Well, I mean, you guys have heard me say this. I think when you have a conviction, if you love somebody and you go get them, that's the preferred policy, I guess, that I like. Find somebody you love and go get them. And if you think you can get them where you're at, then you stay where you're at. I just feel like the philosophy of trading back means that if you really believe in your board and you believe how it's going to fall, is that you're moving back to get a lesser player. That's just kind of the premise that we have. It's not to say that we wouldn't move back, but that's the philosophy here.
That's why they don't move back. When the GM is telling you moving back is you're just saying we're going to take a lesser player. If you believe in your board, then you stay where you are, or you get aggressive, you go up and get a player you love. That approach has worked for this team. I understand the misses pre-Jeff Ireland, but you also had the 2006 draft pre-Jeff Ireland, and that was that in 2017, and then 1980, was it 1981 or 1982, the Ricky Jackson draft, are roundly considered the greatest drafts in the history of this franchise. It was the 1981 draft with George Rogers and Ricky Jackson and Frank Warren and Hobie Brenner. It was, that Hokie Gajan was in that draft as well, like Jim Wilkes. That's that 1981 draft, 2006, 2017. Those are largely, widely considered the greatest drafts in the history of this franchise. So be committed to your board, be passionate about a player, go get him. Just make sure it's a defensive tackle. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. We're heading up to Columbia, Missouri next. We're going to check in on the Gamecocks, year 2 under Shane Beamer. What do they do for non-core? We'll find out next.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Excited about it, man. We're going to have new G team member Gavin Dugas in studio tomorrow. Looking forward to talking to Gavin about his season, wearing the 8 jersey, representing LSU, and, of course, representing the G. The Gord father of NIL. Gavin Dugas, the newest member of the G team. Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon has done such great work through NIL and building out the G team roster, but also through so many other charitable endeavors. We talk about the Gordon Gives arm all the time. The most recent, of course, every year around graduation time. It's the program where Gordon gives away a dozen laptops to high school graduates going into college. If you have a upcoming high school grad in your family, you can go enter online at gordonsgrads.com. Go to gordonsgrads.com. As always, if you've been injured, it's not your fault. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP, plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come home, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. The SEC Spring Recap on After Further Review. The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Maybe the biggest surprise in the Southeastern Conference a year ago were Shane Beamer's Gamecocks there in year one. They finished 8-5 overall, third in the SEC East. So, what do you do for an encore? Let's head up to Columbia. Our buddy Jay Phillips from 107.5 The Game is good enough to join us here for a couple of minutes. Jay, we appreciate it as always, man. How are you?
I'm well, and listen, I thought we were talking Jazz Fest. Do you really want to talk football? Because I'd like to talk about Robert Plant, Dead and Company, Lizzo.
You know, I totally forgot that you're like the old music head. I mean, we talk every year at media days, and I totally forgot that was your MO, man. I'm actually going on Saturday. Some Ed Sheeran and some Steve Miller Band on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You'll like both. Yeah. No, I one day I'll get down there and I'll stay at your house. And,
come on.
We'll get it done. But yeah, no, things are good up here. In fact, we've had some news today, so I'll tell you real quick. South Carolina football finally had two kids transfer out today. Neither one a big surprise. Demetrius Watson, the freshman defensive lineman, really good kid, high school wise in South Carolina. He was a freshman last year. Just I think wasn't going to play, and I think that you know how it is, writing on the wall. And then finally a quarterback left, which we were waiting for. And I know that sounds weird to say, but Braden Davis who was the state of Delaware's player of the year 2 years ago in high school, is going to transfer out. I imagine he'll head back up towards his neck of the woods. But, Matt, South Carolina at quarterback, you got Spencer Rattler, obviously, as a 5-star starter. But then you have Luke Doty, Colton Gauthier, Tanner Bailey, Braden Davis, Lenora Sellers, all 4-star quarterbacks behind them. In today's world, you can't keep all those guys. So Davis is the first to go, may not be the last, but there's a little bit of, somewhat breaking news from this afternoon from Gamecock football.
Let's stick with Spencer Rattler, who we all know the story, right? I mean, a year ago, before the season at Oklahoma, I guess it was 2 years ago now, Jay, he was projected to be the first pick in the draft. He loses his job to Caleb Williams. He transfers. I think it's fair to say he had an up and down first year in Columbia, but makes a decision to come back. So, as a fifth-year guy, what is the expectation there in Columbia on Spencer Rattler this year?
It's certainly higher, and I think as you watched the season unfold last year, you saw why. In his defense, to some degree, I'll try to keep this tight,
okay,
so we can get to other stuff. But Marcus Satterfield, South Carolina's offensive coordinator, had just a gigantic playbook, Matt, and I think that last year early, rather than wanting to tailor the plays to the strengths of the talent on the roster, Marcus just wanted to call plays, and it got real jumbled. And at times, everybody just looked a little off. And I realized that Spencer had a spring and a summer before the Gamecocks played in the fall. But as time went on, and Shane would say this publicly, he was narrowing the scope of the playbook. And ultimately, by the time Carolina upset Tennessee, and then the following week upset Clemson, and then played well against Notre Dame, just didn't have the horses in that game, and ultimately the Irish just literally ran over South Carolina in the second half. Spencer himself got a lot better, and I think it's because they finally had the playbook down to the things he was most comfortable running, that the guys around him were most comfortable running, that Shane wanted to build their confidence up. And in the first half of the season, it was just kind of shocked. And I do put a lot of that on Marcus. He's not there anymore. Marcus Satterfield's gone to Nebraska with Matt Rule. Carolina has brought in Dowell Loggins from Arkansas to be the new OC and a real quarterbacks coach. And it's already having an effect. I mean, Spencer and Dowell talk like they're long-lost buddies, man. Almost like at the end of Step Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it feels. I mean, it's really – you can feel that. And I've talked to both of them recently enough and gotten that same sense. So I do think the expectations are higher, but I also think it's because he himself has said he feels more comfortable in what they want him to do, what they expect him to do.
Outside of Rattler, who else is there that sort of emerged this spring on offense that's worth keeping an eye on?
The only guy I would say that, like, from a public standpoint, fits that bill is Trey Knox, who is transferring in to Carolina from Arkansas, and man, does he look the part. Now, look, I'm never one of those dudes who takes much of anything from a spring game, and I'm going to continue that. But to answer your question directly, I would say that it was Trey. I think for the guys that Gamecock fans already knew, they weren't asked to do a lot. And look, it's a spring game, man. I'm one of those, by the way. Shane and Hugh Freeze of late had said, I'd love to have an exhibition game. Amen, brother. I'm with you. I don't care who it's against. You can play a damn high school team. I just put somebody to get in there and play. But I thought Trey looked good. They're turning over the tight end room completely. Trey Knox, Josh Simon, Nick Elksness. These are all guys that are transferring in. So they've never played for the Gamecocks, but they all have a lot of experience. But Trey looks the part. Now let's see what happens in real games.
Jay Phillips is with us, 107.5 The Game up there in Columbia, South Carolina, taking a look at the Gamecocks. Flip it over, defense. Just keep it general here, Jay. Where's the biggest strength? Where's the biggest question coming out of spring?
Strength, they've got a lot of defensive backs. They're going to lose Cam Smith and Darius Rush to the draft, but they've got some bodies back there, and they've begun to really train that room up. There's a lot of redshirt seniors and juniors. There's a couple of sophomores that popped last year, 2 local kids, Nick Emenwari, DQ Smith. So strength, I think, is defensive back. Still some rawness back there, but I like the talent they've brought in And a lot of these kids are homegrown, so I think that's something different than transfers. Weakness, you still need more up front. Everybody wants more pass rush, right? And, this is a school that produced Jadeveon Clowney, and so unfortunately for a lot of these kids, for the next generation, Matt, they're going to be compared to Jadeveon Clowney. That's not fair, but it's reality for Gamecock fans. But they need more up there. They lost Jordan Strawn last year during the season. He's back, but they missed him. And of course, you look at some kids that transferred out. It's an area where I think they're still going to be active in the portal to try to find some experienced depth. I don't know how quality it'll be, but some experienced depth up front on defense.
Jay, before you go, is this, look, I look and I say, man, at Georgia, at Tennessee, at Texas A&M, your non-conference games are against North Carolina to open, Clemson to close. I feel like this is a South Carolina team that might be better this year than they were last year, but the record won't show it. Is that fair?
It is. And I would have, if you and I were talking last year, and we did, I may have said that same thing to you. In Shane's first year, they got their butt kicked a lot of times. In Shane's second year, they got their butt kicked a couple of times, Georgia most notably.
Mm-hmm.
But they also began to turn it around. And I've always said, man, and I'm sure you have too to some degree, tell me how you lose when you lose. Are you competitive through four quarters, or was the game over by halftime? And so, yes, I agree with you. I think this team can continue to get better. And if you're losing a couple of games by a score, does the record show it? Now, that said, they overachieved last year because, again, they weren't supposed to beat Tennessee and Clemson, and they beat them both. And they won at Clemson, so Clemson comes back to Columbia. But I think to sum it up, this is certainly a team that could play in a lot of close games and maybe not have them go their way. But you know what, Matt? That's why Shane is such a stickler for special teams. The special teams coordinator here, Pete Limbo, got a big raise to stay in Columbia. I mean, like a couple $100,000. I mean, they gave him a big raise because what he's doing is working. And so there's the place where they try to make a difference. But with a couple of those key spots still unsettled, including tailback, by the way, they've got to go get a portal tailback too. They could certainly be in a lot of dog fights that don't go their way.
He's Jay Phillips, 107.5 The Game there in Columbia, South Carolina. You can follow him on Twitter at jphillips1075. That's one L on Phillips, by the way, if you're searching for it. Hey, man, I'll look forward to seeing you in Nashville this summer, as always, man. We appreciate a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, and I look forward to seeing you in a video where you're mouthing along to either Ed Sheeran or Steve Miller. I'll be looking on Saturday.
Probably more likely Steve Miller than Ed Sheeran. Thanks.
I'm with you. I'm with you. All right, man. Be good.
All right, Jay. We'll see you. It's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. I think I said it was Shane Beamer's first year. Forgive me. Second year. He went 6-6 the first year. They won the bowl game to finish 7-6. They went 8-4 last year. Lost the bowl game to go 8-5. But they were one of the surprises because of beating Tennessee, beating Clemson the way they did last year. Was a pretty incredible finish. And that win over Tennessee, of course, is where Hendon Hooker tore his ACL, but the torn ACL had nothing to do with that game. I'm pretty sure South Carolina hung 60 on him that day. It was as impressive a beatdown as we saw in college football last year. So can Shane Beamer keep building? Big question there in Columbia. Okay, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. As always, love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020. Schedule that free consultation. Call 924-2020. You hear me say it, 924-2020. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020. You can always go to williamsoneye.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Newest location in the river region there in Laplace. You could go see our friends, in Lutcher. Forgive me. I said Laplace, Lutcher. There at the Williamson Eye Center. Call 924-2020. Remember, eye care, eyewear, and eye surgery. You want to have your annual eye exam, because you should always have your annual eye exam, go to the Williamson Eye Center. If you wear contacts or glasses, they can sell you your frames. They can sell you your contact lenses at the Williamson Eye Center. And, of course, if you want to say goodbye to the contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center, there's nobody better. 70 years, 3 generations now with Dr. Blake Williamson. It's the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com. All right, we will knock out a break. We'll do a little overrated, underrated. Mike Triplett in 45 minutes. Looking forward to having Mike T back on the show on the eve of the NFL draft. Let's hear more of what Mickey Loomis had to say. Some of the big tidbits as we head toward draft day tomorrow. We're excited about it. Remember, of course, every Wednesday, Pluckers, trivia night, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock Nicholson. T-Bob and I are live tonight at Oliver Twist for Scone and Tea. Hope to see plenty of you there, and hope to see all of you tomorrow at our Rouse's draft watch party over at Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Quick break. Overrated, underrated is next.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel in Southtown. Of course, the watermark downtown, the Renaissance, as they call it, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet. A giant, sprawling, luxurious hotel right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. And listen, everything in Baton Rouge runs through I-10, and you know where Bluebonnet is, and that's where you'll find the Renaissance Hotel with comfortable, elegant guest rooms and so many amenities from the complimentary gym. And, man, there are just such amazing opportunities to host your event at the Renaissance Hotel. Listen, if I really challenge you, the next time you're going to have a business lunch, you meet clients or friends, whatever, for lunch, and you start the whole round table of where you want to go. I don't know. Where do you want to go? You pick. I don't care. You pick. Mention Tallulah. Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. You'll have the best burger that you will ever eat for $10 at lunch at Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Full menu, great ambiance and vibe. It's Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Not only did she tell us, but this young lady, stand up. And this young lady,
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, Mike Triplett joins us in about 40 minutes from right now. Certainly looking forward to that. Tomorrow is draft day. I'm fired up for it. We'll get you the draft latest, including Frank Reich and the Carolina Panthers talking about what they might be thinking at number 1 overall. The big topic a day ago was Will Levis's draft odds to become the number 1 overall pick just zooming up. And it certainly seems like with Will Levis now being the prohibitive favorite to be the number 2 overall pick, he will not go further than 2. The question is now, what happens with C.J. Stroud? Does he become the choice for the Indianapolis Colts, or are they more sold on Anthony Richardson? And how might the rest of that all transpire? Tons still to talk about here as we make it through the day. Just remind our friends here about the Dreams Come True Radiothon.
Yeah, so the Dreams Come True Radiothon, it's brought to you by the Baton Rouge Clinic and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, of course. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The Dreams Come True Radiothon is presented today by Luba. You can donate at 1045ESPN.com. And, of course, every $5 donation is an entry into the raffle. You got a concert ticket package available in the raffle this year. An Aaron and Austin Nola autographed bat, ball, and picture. A lot of good prizes.
It's pretty incredible. By the way, we're going to pull for those raffle prizes on Monday. So even though we're off air on Friday is the last show of the month, you can still make your donations through Sunday. And all the money stays locally. It helps grant dreams for kids battling life-threatening or terminal illnesses, and they can literally have whatever they want. It's about $3,500 on average to make a dream come true for a dream child. So all the money we raise stays in Louisiana and helps Louisiana children make these dreams come true. And no amount is too small to donate. People say that, but literally make a $5 donation. You're entered into the raffle for those great prizes. There's some amazing prizes. And if you win one of them, great. But really, ultimately, we're helping we're helping give children facing something no child should ever face a great moment. So we love doing the Dreams Come True Radiothon. We've been partnered with Miss Becky and Dreams Come True for a year, as long as I've been here. I've been here 13 years. So it's been at least that long. But in any event, dreams come true. Go to 1045ESPN.com to donate. You'll see the link right there on the flipper right there on the homepage. It's the first thing that'll pop up. All right, it's after further review. We do this every Wednesday. Muse, let's do a little overrated, underrated.
Overrated or underrated?
I personally think he's criminally underrated.
Okay, here we go.
All right, let's start one with one that's very, appropriate for the time. Overrated or underrated? Mock drafts.
Mock drafts are overrated. I get the intrigue, but it's basically clickbait, and I'm as guilty as anyone of consuming them. I'm always interested, and I think the tool is not necessarily to see what player your team is going to take, but more so maybe a position of interest, but it's all about conversation. But the thing is, you're going to get far more wrong than you get right on a mock draft. It's mostly just a fun thing to do, and if you can treat it as such, that's great. But using the mock draft as anything of any type of substantive gauge of anything is foolhardy. Put it to you that way.
Overrated or underrated? Fishing.
Okay. Now, I'm assuming you're talking about fishing for sport or for leisure? Or are you talking about, like, commercial fishing?
Man, there's a lot of fishing.
Yes.
Let's go leisure. How about that?
Okay. I'm going to say fishing is overrated. Hear me out, okay?
You're going to make a lot of people mad.
And I don't fish, okay? I don't hunt or fish. But fishing is expensive because generally speaking, you have to have an expensive reel and you have to pay for bait, right? So there are costs associated that are expensive. If you take it a step further, there's also a camp, a boat, a lot of other things, licenses, that costs that you incur. So to that extent, I think it precludes a lot of people the same way that other expensive hobbies would, like golf and hunting and things of that nature. Because it is an expensive hobby, I think it precludes a lot of people from partaking. I'll put it to that way. So fishing, I will say, is overrated. However, commercial fishing is a total necessity. Like, you're literally feeding people. So as a profession, a total necessity in our world. So probably even underrated, or either properly rated or underrated for what commercial fishing is.
Sports fishing fall into that category as well.
I'm sorry?
Does sports fishing fall into that category as well? It's technically a profession.
Are you talking about like fishing?
Like the people you see on TV, they're
like
fishing in the tournaments.
Fishing?
Yeah,
no,
it's a profession.
It's also not a necessity.
Huh?
If fishing for sport went away tomorrow, no one ever did it again, our world continues on just as we always would.
Fair.
If commercial fishermen stopped casting their nets and going out on catches, the world changes dramatically. Our region largely ceases to exist because of what the fishing economy out of the Gulf means for the Southeast, our state in particular.
Overrated or underrated? Jersey Shore.
Never saw it. I can't give you an honest opinion. Never saw Jersey Shore. I know Snooki.
Yeah, Snooki.
What's his name? What's the other guy?
JWoww? JWoww?
Is that a Jersey Shore? JWoww?
Yeah.
JWoww?
DJ Pauly D.
Pauly
The
D.
Situation.
Got it.
Yeah.
The Situation, all of it, no clue.
Okay.
I'm familiar with the Situation Room. That's on one of the political shows, yeah?
Yeah.
I think.
think
My mother-in-law watches Fox News nonstop, so
Okay.
I'm sure I've seen that from her at some point. I'm not a news consumer. Go be angry at somebody else. Leave me alone.
We went from Jersey Shore to political news. That's probably never happened before.
Okay, yeah. You mean to tell me Snooki's never been on Fox News?
I'm sure she has.
Or CNN? I bet you she has.
Know.
There's crossover there.
Okay.
But I can't give you an honest opinion on Jersey Shore because I've never seen Jersey Shore. However, maybe the answer is underrated in that I've never seen Jersey Shore, yet I knew who characters from that show were, how long ago was it canceled?
2012, I think it was. Well, they've brought it back a bunch of different times, but the original run was 2009 to 2012. It was all throughout when I was in high school.
2012. You're sure? You're sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the show has been off air for 11 years, and I know what Jersey Shore is. That's some pretty incredible brand awareness and brand longevity. So, to that extent, I would probably say underrated.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. See, look, you don't even need to see it. You got the assessment down. We like that.
Well,
that's good stuff.
As far as
GTL, man.
If we're talking about Jersey Shore, the IP, clearly there's tremendous value. As far as my feeling on the content itself, I can't give you an opinion because I've literally never seen an episode. But Anthony Renato's from the Jersey Shore.
There you go.
So it's my guy. Big unit, 6'7". Tat sleeves and whatnot. Guys, I mean, what a beautiful man. You know what I mean?
He's a guy.
I mean, loves if you don't know Anthony Renato, you should know Anthony Renato. Like one of the most beautiful people inside and out. Good soul, loves others, great energy, great vibes, positivity all the way around. Was a great pitcher, obviously at LSU, won a natty, pitched in the show. Just one of my favorite people in life that I don't spend enough time with is Anthony Renato. From the Jersey Shore.
From the Jersey Shore. That spawned a whole different conversation tonight. We went from political news to Anthony Renato.
Yeah.
Overrated or underrated? Air fryers.
Oh, holy moly, Muse. I mean, you're throwing out a few today that are not really in my wheelhouse. I can't say I've ever used an air fryer
buy one.
or consumed any food prepared on an air fryer. I hate to punt, but I don't think I can give you an honest assessment of whether an air fryer. How much does an air fryer cost?
I mean, good one, maybe like $80.
You see,
somewhere around there, yeah.
The tough part about that. Here's an air fryer for $29.99. The Power XL for $78.98. Then there's the Emerald Dual Zone air fryer, which is $349.
That's that. You don't need that.
Okay.
Let's get the Ninja. The Ninja's $90.
Ninja air fryer, $69.
Oh, even better, $70. Look at that.
What do you prepare in an air fryer?
You prepare anything you want. That's the thing. It's just fantastic.
Cereal?
You probably could. I wouldn't recommend that, but you could.
You said anything.
You could air fry cereal. It's probably not good, but you can air fry chicken breasts, chicken nuggets. Asparagus out of an air fryer is fantastic. That's very good.
You see, my first
Meat,
inclination,
burgers, all kind of stuff.
My first inclination was to say that the reason you don't see, so a microwave is a household necessity. Every kitchen has a microwave. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least it should.
An air fryer is a luxury item. Generally speaking, a luxury item is overrated. There's a reason it's not a necessity. It's a luxury item. Is it nice to have? Does it work? Yes, all great. But what I'd be looking for is value. And perhaps at $70, the Ninja air fryer could be a great value if there were widespread use for it. I just don't know, and on that I can't comment completely. So I will, to a degree, pass on that one.
Okay. That's overrated or underrated.
All right, this is After Further Review. We're presented by Pluckers. Nicholson and Bluebonnet dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Remember, tonight and every Wednesday, it is trivia, 7:30 at Bluebonnet, 8 o'clock at Nicholson. Get your team together. Every team wins Pluckers gift cards or Amazon gift cards. You get to spin the prize. Every team gets to spin the prize wheel, so you're going to win something at Pluckers, either location. That is every Wednesday. And we will get questions from Muse, trivia questions from Muse here in about 45 minutes. Very much looking forward to that. Muse, you're going to crash and burn today. I think you are at best, as we've determined, 1 and 2 at best. And I think you're going over, but you have a shot. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Absolutes, huh?
I haven't spoken in an absolute.
You
I
just
said you have a
no,
shot.
you don't.
I said you have a shot.
And then you said no, you don't.
No, you don't. I'm going to say Clay Young is calling me. I've known Clay Young for 20 years. I've known Clay Young literally since my first day in radio. Clay, what the hell do I do for a living? What have I done? Clay Young, by the way, if you don't know, is the guy you hear on all the commercials, like with John Conroy and some of the other, and Clay's an old radio guy who I've known, dear friend. Why are you calling me at 4?
Butt dial, maybe?
That's most people. I don't expect people to know my schedule, right? Erica knows. Do not call me when I'm on the air. She knows. I don't. So people call me. It happens. They don't. They're not thinking. They're not going, oh, Matt's on the. You know what I mean? Clay Young knows I'm on the air. Clay's agency, his client is Don Juan. Yeah. Clay's the one who put together the Don Juan deal with me. He knows what I'm doing. Why are you calling me, Clay Young? I'm calling you out right now. That better have been a butt dial.
It could have been. That probably was.
That better have been a butt dial. If that's not a butt dial, he owes me a cigar tomorrow at Don Juan. All right, I got to go. We'll do Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. Get to NOLAflooring.com, NOLAflooring.com, or better yet, get to New Orleans Flooring this Saturday. This Saturday, sidewalk sale over at New Orleans Flooring. Why in the world, when everything's already discounted, like 40%, would you need a sidewalk sale? Why not? I mean, why did they give you they give you a tax-free month in March? Because they can, and they're awesome, and Steve's a guy over there, and I love Big Sean and Terrell, great people. Get on by and meet the whole gang at New Orleans Flooring. Listen, it's a great time. Springtime is, spring cleaning. You start to do those home improvement projects this time of year, and maybe it's new flooring. Maybe you want that hardwood, that laminate. Maybe it's carpet or tile. They have it all, and they have all the products you buy everywhere else. They just got them at extremely discounted prices because they keep it all in stock. It's New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Airline Highway in Prairieville, or online at NOLAflooring.com, NOLAflooring.com.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
All right, let's say ah.
What am I supposed
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Musso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
And we'll start in Major League Baseball. Little LSU on LSU action last night. Rangers-Reds started off with Josh Smith getting the start at shortstop. Bottom of the order in the 8-hole, 1-for-4 home run. First home run of the season for Smith. So run scored, RBI, all that stuff to go along with it. And again, getting some run at shortstop. The Cincinnati Reds won the game, however. Jake Fraley, a huge part of that. Got a pinch hit opportunity in the 8th inning, made the most of it. A 2 RBI double. That brought the Reds within 1. A base hit would score the guy at third and Fraley, who would end up being the winning run. So 1-for-1, 2 RBI, and the run scored for Jake Fraley. Somebody was calling me.
Who was it?
I don't know. I don't know. It was
spam?
Like, yeah, it was spam.
See, I get actual calls. You get spam.
Yeah, I just get a bunch of them too. And they all get ignored.
Or was that your dime bag dealer?
No, it was spam. At least I think. I don't know. I didn't have the number on my phone. I didn't have the number on my phone.
Paulie, do you think he has his dime bag dealer labeled as spam? So when it pops up, everyone just thinks, oh, Muse is just getting a spam call?
Absolutely.
But he knows what it is?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what a spam call. It was just a number that I didn't have on my phone.
It wasn't a spam call.
It was a number that I didn't have on my phone.
What a shocker.
Anyway.
It wasn't a spam call.
Landon Marceau last night for the Trash Pandas. 5 innings. 5 innings pitched. Scattered 8 hits. Did give up the 4 earned runs. 1 walk. 4 strikeouts. Got his first loss of the season, but limited the damage a little bit. They kept his team in the game there. They just weren't able to mount the full rally. The Beloit Sky Cart, you know what that means?
Jacob Berry. Either way, you have to have more.
I did that in the break, okay?
Well, that's
I
your
did
fault.
that in the break
That's your fault, okay? It's your fault you did it in the break because we've been talking about it for weeks, and then you're like, oh, crap, I have Jacob Berry. I have to do this real quick. Scone, say Jacob Berry, Jacob Berry.
And we're going to do it. We're going to do it better, but I wanted to have it for today. Anyway, he went 2 for 4 last night, a double, his 4th of the year, scored a run, and drove in another. So a really, really solid night for Jacob Berry yet again.
Jacob Berry, Jacob Berry, Jacob Berry, Jacob Berry.
That actually goes well.
But you need the leading because we need the song like you have whenever you do Go DJ or Cyclone, you play the whole thing.
All right, that's Tigers in the Press.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. 2 locations in Baton Rouge. Gentlemen, if you are thinking about popping the question, the only place you should go is the place where people have gone to get engaged for nearly 40 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. Hour 3 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
Hey, Traction is enrolling now for summer baseball. Go to TractionSports.com. We'll do this together. Parents, your kids are going to be playing in summer baseball leagues. Easy. Go to TractionSports.com. Paul, if you would, pull this up so that way we could do this together. Go to TractionSports.com. You'll see on the homepage, they've got the Louisiana and the Mississippi locations. Tap the Louisiana location, and then you'll see right there where it'll say you scroll, and you'll see the 2023 Summer Baseball League. And then, boom, there's all of your information. Opening night for Traction Summer Baseball is June the 5th. It'll run all the way through July 17th. They'll have an end-of-season tournament at the end of July as well. So, 3 years old for T-ball and up, the Traction Summer Baseball League. They're enrolling now. Learn more or get your kiddo involved at TractionSports.com. Online, TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get him now before they go back on back order. Front to back boat service.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Jets today introduced new quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He said he's excited for what lies ahead for New York and is happy to be a part of a team with a chance to win it all. He explained one big reason he did choose New York was offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, his former OC in Green Bay. Starting tomorrow, Rodgers will be joining his new teammates for the offseason program, and that's huge, says Fitz and Harry co-host Harry Douglas.
I think he understands the urgency of him being in that building with his teammates as the off-season training starts. He wants to get to know his teammates better. He stated that. He wants to put together fun events for team building. All of those things are huge for the New York Jets and also Aaron Rodgers when it comes to having success on the football field.
Regarding how long he might play for the Jets, Rodgers said he's just focused on this season. NBA Clippers forward Kawhi Leonard diagnosed with a torn meniscus. Within the next 2 weeks, he and the Clippers will decide on the course of treatment for the injury, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. The Rockets today introduced new head coach Ime Udoka.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid! Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's hump day.
It's hump day.
26 hours from right now.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
The NFL draft will be off and running.
Hump day.
We'll be at Don Juan Cigar Bar.
It's hump day.
Will you?
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You better be.
Hump day.
Presented by Rouse's.
It's hump day.
If you're not there,
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Make sure you watch our coverage on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, presented by Rouse's.
Hump day.
LSU football got a big commit today.
It's hump day.
Baseball Tigers lost to Nicholls.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Mike Triplett in 15 minutes.
Hump day.
Stopped in Columbia, South Carolina last hour on our
It's hump
SEC
day.
spring recaps.
It's hump day.
Muse is eating some weed brownies.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I'm sorry, Muse. I'm sorry.
Hump day.
No, you're not, but it's okay.
They were gummies.
It's hump day.
There.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, let's get going. Mentioned it a bit ago. If you missed it, just about a half an hour or so before we came on air today, Trades Green, the 4-star tight end out of East Feliciana, committed to LSU. A big get. Trades Green, the 6'6", 240-pound tight end from East Feliciana. Also a power forward on the basketball team. He's got offers in both football and basketball, but is committed as a part of LSU's football class for 2024. He's the number 3 tight end in the country, the number 2 player in the state of Louisiana for 2024. And one of the things we talked about last year, of course, was Brian Kelly recruiting the state of Louisiana. Arch Manning, Eli Holstein. You had some high-profile guys that got out of state. And there was this question last summer, man, could Brian Kelly recruit Louisiana? Well, right now, you've got 3 of the top 5 players in Louisiana for this year that are committed. All 3 are committed to LSU. 5 of the top 10 that are committed right now, committed to LSU. I'm sorry. Of the top 10, you have 5 committed. They're all committed to LSU. So you are certainly making tons of headway in state. You got a top 10 class in the country right now for 2024. We've seen the last 2 years, Brian Kelly's torn up the transfer portal as well. And one thing we know about the tight end spot, Brian Kelly has always recruited and developed tight ends, from Kyle Rudolph and Tyler Eifert to Alize Mack to Michael Mayer, who's going to be a first-round pick tomorrow, that Brian Kelly recruited and developed there at Notre Dame. So we saw what he did with Mason Taylor as a freshman, recruited and signed 3 tight ends in this year's class, including Mac Markway out of Missouri, one of the top tight ends in the country. And now you're adding Trey'Dez Green, a kid from Louisiana. So exciting times, man, for Brian Kelly. This was expected. They were expected to get Trey'Dez Green, but until the announcement's made and then the papers ultimately signed and faxed in November, you never know for sure. But Trey'Dez Green is a member of LSU's, the 14th commit for LSU's 2024 class. All right, we're glad to have you aboard with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR. Gave you a full breakdown of the Trey'Dez Green commitment, what it means for LSU, all that stuff in hour number 1. If you missed that, you can always catch AFR on demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. You can listen to that, or you can always go to the After Further Review LSU YouTube channel, subscribe up. Our LSU clips are at the AFR LSU channel. Our Saints clips are at the AFR Saints channel. So make sure you go subscribe up to the After Further Review YouTube channels as well. All right, it is After Further Review. One of the things that we are definitely going to be keeping a close eye on tomorrow in the draft, that everyone is going to be so intrigued by, is what happens with the number 1 overall pick. Now, it's always great intrigue, and sometimes there are years where it's a no-doubter and everybody knows who's going number 1 overall, like when Joe Burrow went number 1 to Cincinnati. But a lot of times there's a ton of intrigue when you go into draft and you don't know who the first pick is going to be. So tomorrow, we all have a really good idea that it's going to be Bryce Young. And at this point, I think it would be a massive upset if it isn't Bryce Young. But at least with the news yesterday, the reports, and seeing what happened with the sportsbook odds around Will Levis, you're going up to 4-1 to be the first overall pick. It has at least added a layer of intrigue we did not know was there before. Remember, Carolina traded up to get the number 1 overall pick. So they have given up assets to go to number 1 overall. And typically you would assume if you are going to go, I don't want to say all in, but that if you're going to use that type of capital to go up to the number 1 overall pick, generally you're doing that with a player in mind. But that doesn't seem to be the case with Carolina. The word around Carolina is that ownership likes Bryce Young, and Frank Reich liked C.J. Stroud. Stroud certainly doesn't seem like he's going to be the pick. It would seem like the billionaire is going to get his way and get Bryce Young, but that remains to be seen. Frank Reich did meet with the media for his pre-draft press conference and was asked about whether or not there was a consensus on the number 1 pick there in-house.
He actually came in my office yesterday at some point and asked the question. It's kind of like a proposal, and I said yes. No, there is consensus, and we're excited.
So they know who they're going to take. Carolina does. And clearly, if you're a Saints fan, you're going to be watching that with close interest, because whoever that is that Carolina takes, you're going to see twice a year, every year, for the foreseeable future. Is it a Matt Ryan, Cam Newton type situation where they're drafting their franchise quarterback that you're going to see twice a year for a decade and is going to become a player that you just become intimately familiar with playing twice a year, every year? Or is it someone that's going to bust? Whatever the case may be, it's of keen interest to fans of the Saints, Falcons, and Bucs. So Carolina with the number 1 overall pick. Frank Reich says they have consensus, And all signs point to that being Bryce Young going first overall, but we will know formally when the commissioner reads the name off the card in about 26 hours from right now. All right, it is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. Yo, we're heading into the warm weather months, and I tell you, when Eric and I moved into our home, I've shared the story with you before, but our den, it's an open floor plan in the den and the kitchen. It's kind of one big, giant open room. And there's this wall of windows that makes an L shape in our den. And it's just these giant floor-to-ceiling windows. And so while it's beautiful to look out into our back area, the problem is for half the day, the sun's beating through there, and that room would get very hot. The first thing we did when we moved in that house is we had Relief Windows come out and install those energy-efficient windows. The impact-resistant windows that you see Brandon Holly always beating with a crowbar, that we have those at our home. Not only will it increase safety at your house, obviously it's harder to break through if you're a robber or something like that. Flying debris in a storm obviously will make you safer, but they're energy efficient. It keeps that room cool. It keeps it energy efficient. So we lower our energy bills. We increased our home's resale value. When we had the home appraised after we installed the windows, we got credit for having those windows on the appraisal. Remember, lifetime warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. It's Relief Windows. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and ReliefWindows.com. We're going to talk to Mike Triplett coming up here in 5 minutes. Mickey Loomis did meet with the media today. We're going to talk plenty about the Saints, their process, and all that sort of stuff from with Mike Triplett when they come out. One of the things that we will talk about, though, is running back. Can you play number 12, please? Because Mickey Loomis was asked today about Kamara's current situation. And we all know he's got a court date this summer when the Saints are scheduled to be in training camp. And if Kamara faces some type of conviction and likely suspension, could that affect what the Saints are looking for at running back? Here's what Loomis said today.
It's not going to influence, who we pick, because that's a short-term issue, and we don't know what that's going to be yet. So, yeah, am I concerned about it? Sure, certainly, because it's going to affect, our team if something happens there. But it's a temporary issue.
I kind of believe him, but the other part of it, too, is you've got to acknowledge your need at running back. Right? I mean, you signed Jamal Williams. You have Alvin Kamara. But how much longer is Kamara there? You have an out after this year in Kamara's contract, and you have an out after 2 years in Jamal Williams' contract. So this is a time where there's value at running back somewhere in the middle of this draft. You got to pull the trigger. So something worth keeping an eye on. Okay, we're going to knock out a break. We'll come back. We'll talk to Mike Triplett. Draft day is tomorrow. Looking forward to having Mike from New Orleans.football with us next.
AFR.
We are looking at a gorgeous weekend ahead, y'all. Get by Clegg's Nursery. They have got greenhouses full of beautiful flowers grown right here in Louisiana. So they're acclimated to Louisiana, which means they're going to last longer and they are going to thrive. It's Clegg's Nursery. Get by any of the 4 locations: Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Remember, yes, tons of flowers, just plant something. But if you got ants or other critters you need to take care of, they can help. The Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. I tell you about this every year. One of the most popular products they have. You want to be done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time? Get the Spartan Mosquito Eradicator at Clegg's Nursery. How about your outdoor decor? If it's garden statues, garden flags, bird feeders, you want to dress up your outdoor area and make it a virtual oasis? Clegg's can help you do it. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area for more than 60 years. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science
are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, it's a busy time for our buddy Mike Triplett over at neworleans.football, but we always appreciate a couple of minutes. Mike, thanks for the time. How are you?
Doing great. It's finally here. Finally here, the draft.
I love the draft. Do you love the draft?
I do love the draft. My only problem with the draft is, I was really excited. I think, April 1st, we had our first mock draft, and we've been talking on our podcast about draft. And if you scroll through the podcast, how should the Saints approach the draft? What should the Saints do in round one of the draft? Who should the Saints target in the draft? It's it needs to come. It
yes.
needs to get here.
It's time to stop the talking.
It's like Christmas music after Halloween.
That is a great analogy. Okay, so my assumption is they have to take a defensive lineman at 29. Do you share that opinion?
I would say 29 or 40. Or if we're telling the truth, they will trade up and do it. Mickey Loomis.
Right.
The only reason I might think they're not going to trade up this year is because Mickey Loomis was so just openly speaking about how they're basically going to trade up in this year's draft that it made me think he was lying, because he's a poker player, and so maybe he was doing the double bluff or whatever. But no, look, by the time they're done with their first and second round picks, at least one of them has to be on the defensive line. I would think so. I think a lot of positions are actually in number for this team, but at least one of those has to be on the defensive line.
So to clarify, are you okay if at 29 or 40 it's either an interior player or an edge guy, or does this have to be a defensive tackle?
Yeah, tackle is my number one ranked need, and end is my number two ranked need. And there's enough interchangeability. If you get another end, if you get an edge rusher, then maybe Peyton Turner and Carl Granderson and even Cam Jordan and Tano Passignon spend a little more time inside in their NASCAR package or whatever. I mean, they need volume, depth, bodies on the defensive line because they rotate so much, and they also need to get better. They need a better pass rush. So, ideally you find that at defensive tackle, but I think there's probably a little more to choose from at defensive end, unless they hit on the one or two guys that makes a lot of sense at defensive tackle.
If you said tackle end are 1-2, how would you start to list where the other big needs are in this draft? Mike, there's a lot that this team needs, but if you were to start to rank them, like what's next after those obvious ones?
Tackle and end are the two to me that need to help the 2023 Saints, like especially tackle. But Cam Jordan getting a little older, it's on the verge of being a long-term need. But I think they need one more body for the short term. I think everything else I'm starting to look at being 1 year away from being a screaming need. I have running back pretty high because Jamal Williams and Alvin Kamara are both going to be 28 this year, which is ancient for running backs. And the fact that Alvin Kamara is probably going to miss time with the suspension, I think that probably vaults it right into the next tier. I would think either a tight end or a wide receiver to add one more big-bodied pass catcher, little Michael Thomas insurance, an eventual replacement for Michael Thomas, and Adam Troutman heading into the last year of his deal. I think guard is fairly high on the priority list because this is probably Andrus Pete's last year with the team, and technically Cesar Ruiz is a free agent, even though I think they will probably ultimately work something out with him. Linebacker Demario Davis is in his 30s. He will eventually need to be replaced. Safety Tyrann Mathieu is in his 30s. He will eventually need to be replaced. So all those other positions I think are in play, and you could ease them into the workload now, and it'll be a big need soon after.
It's interesting. You kind of described the circumstance of a team that is very old, which is what
it is an old team. It is.
Yes,
it is.
So, is it? If we look at the practicality, Mike, Mike Triplett's our guest. I always look at when you look at the way the Saints are approaching this, in particular what they did at quarterback, they are not worried about a long-term play. They are worried about winning today. Do they approach the draft? Because that's right. Everybody asks that question. So do you draft need or best available?
Yeah.
Need would be I'm winning today. Best available is I'm trying to build my team for the future. So in this draft in particular, how do you think the Saints approach that?
Well, I mean, I guess the good news of what I just said is I just listed like 8 positions. so you can draft best available, and you're hitting a need. I mean, we actually talked about it, I think, on a recent podcast. The one question, Kevin Washington, who joins us on our pod, identified the one position you really don't need, and that's center. Because you just signed Eric McCoy to an extension, and you don't want to move another center to guard after that didn't work out great in the early years for Cesar Ruiz. But I think offensive tackle is kind of a fascinating one where I don't know how that guy gets on the field unless Trevor Penning or Ryan Ramczyk gets hurt, which is obviously a possibility. But that is one position where you're really just drafting the best available player if you draft an offensive tackle. You don't have necessarily a plan for him. But every other one of those positions, I mean, if your best player available is a receiver, bring him on. Even if he's a cornerback or a safety, you can make room for him. If he's a guard, you could probably beat out Andrus Peete now or replace him next year. Certainly a linebacker can get on the field and replace those Caden Ellis snaps. We talked about the defensive line. A running back could help out right away. A tight end could help out right away. So I think it's pretty easy to go best player available from that standpoint. What they need is a really good draft class. I mean, that's how they've been able to sustain as long as they have. Their 2016 and 2017 drafts were so good, and that trumps everything. That does.
He's on Twitter at Mike Triplett. By the way, you did mention the pod. I know over at New Orleans Football, y'all had some exciting news this week. You're bringing on Brooke?
Yeah, Brooke Kirchhofer is joining us, and we're going to really, when you add in the members-only podcast that we do, it's going to be a daily format now. Sponsors are joining us. A lot of big moves over there. Just keep growing and growing.
NewOrleans.football is the website, NewOrleans.football. You can catch out the pod over there with Brooke joining the guys. Whenever they... I know we started kind of with the idea of trading up, and that's just always an option for the Saints. Yeah. Do you think that I'm trying to think about what it would cost, Mike, and obviously the question of what it would cost would be, well, how far up are you moving? So what do you think would be practical for this team if they are looking at a trade-up scenario?
Yeah, I do not want a couple things. I've always been sort of okay with their trade-up philosophy because I've covered this team for a long time, and in most of those years, only 4 or 5 members of the draft class are going to make the 53-man roster. This year, that's not necessarily true. This year, I do think you need to pull back the reins a tiny bit and be thinking long term. The other thing, though, that I've really grown to believe, and I believe this even when I thought they were one player away from a championship run when they traded up for Marcus Davenport, I don't love the idea of trading future first-round picks just because you don't know the value of a future first-round pick. You don't know if you're trading pick 28 or pick 8.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it impossible to put a value on that. So I don't want to do that, and I don't really want to trade the 40th pick this year. I don't want to package 29 and 40 together for one guy. If I felt like they were one player away, if I saw that player that is definitely worth 29 and 40 together, maybe I'd feel a little different, but I don't necessarily see that. But after that, I'm okay with any move they make if they do it with conviction. If they move up to pick 20, if they move up to pick 23, if they move up to pick 18, and they use a third or a fourth rounder, I'm okay with that because I think you can get value out of the draft that way. I don't think a great draft class has to mean you got 7 good players. It can mean you got 2 great players and 2 good players. So if that's your path to sustaining this long term, I want guys who are going to be making Pro Bowls in a couple of years. I can find average starters other places. I can sign them, from veteran free agency, from undrafted rookies. I want the best path to 3 or 4 real impact players.
Why not 29 and 40?
If the right player you could get for 29 and 40, I think 29 and 40 gets you to like the 15th pick or something like that. I'm not like overly excited about, who's available, even though that could be Iowa defensive end Lucas Van Ness. I'm an Iowa guy. I don't think he's worth 29 and 40 to me. I don't think any of those guys that they're talking about going in the top 5 are going to fall that far. I don't see who is so much better than having that 1-2 punch of guys this year. But in general, I don't hate the idea of using draft to maximize value, but I do like the idea of them getting 2 top 40 picks out of this draft.
Of course, look, the Saints got 2 first-rounders a year ago. We saw Chris Olave have a great year. Trevor Penning Mike, maybe we make it the conversation almost like you get an extra first-rounder this year because of Trevor Penning, right?
You get the extra the free first-rounder because of Sean Payton. But yeah, Trevor Penning. It's funny. This is another thing I said on the podcast one time. Depending on whether you want to rip the Saints for what they did last year or credit the Saints for what they did last year. If you hate the move they made, you said they drafted Chris Olave last year and they traded the 10th pick in this year's draft for Trevor Penning. But if you like the move they made last year, they say, well, they drafted Trevor Penning last year and they traded the 10th pick in this year's draft for Chris Olave. So just either way, though, the 2 first-rounders turned into Chris Olave and Trevor Penning. And if Penning can get his health on track and be the starting left tackle for years to come, those are 2 guys who are worth 2 first-round picks, ideally.
Yeah.
And history might forgive, the fact that they were flirting with disaster when it looked like they might have a top 6 or 7 or 8 pick there for a minute.
It is an interesting way to look at it. Finally, when you look at the, I guess we could look maybe like day 3 of the draft. In this, I'm looking at this draft in particular, right? Because every year, look, drafts vary and depth in drafts vary. When you've gone through and looked and talked to draft analysts about what's available in day 3 and what the Saints might be looking for, is there a position or a position where you would say in particular this draft might be strong for the Saints to take a day 3 player that could hit?
It's a little tough to say day 3, but if I can combine like rounds 3 and 4, and this is true every year, but I definitely think it's true this year. That is the honey hole for running back for me. Ty J. Spears and Devon Achane and Roshan Johnson and Kendall Miller. Like, not only, and I wrote about this kind of at length, not only do I think there's good value to be had there, those guys turn into bona fide starters in the NFL. Like, that's not true of every position where you draft a guy in the third or fourth round and he becomes a really good, like a true number one starter for your team. And so I really like the idea of addressing that position in rounds 3 or 4.
All right, I lied. One more. Do they take a quarterback?
They don't have to. I mean,
I know they don't have to. Will they?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think they're going into this thinking we really want to get a young quarterback into the building. I would say it's as likely as it's been over the last few years. 1 year they took Grayson, 1 year they took Book, 4 out of 5 years they didn't. I don't think they'll approach it any differently from that standpoint. But I mean, it's possible. It always just depends when that guy's head pops up and his grade is high enough. But I don't think they're looking at this draft like we'd like to get a quarterback out of this draft more than usual.
He is Mike Triplett on Twitter at Mike Triplett, NewOrleans.football. Great time to join the guys over at NewOrleans.football. Of course, you can catch the pod there as well. All right, Mike, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the draft. It's finally here.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Be well. Mike Triplett joining us here on After Further Review. Hump Day Show brought to you by Pluckers. I'm glad I pressed him on quarterback because there are two different answers, right? Could they and will they draft a quarterback are two very different questions this year. Could they? Sure they could. Sure they could. They could be sitting there in day 3 and they could I'm just looking at Pro Football Focus's quarterback rankings. We've talked about, for example, DTR here. Maybe you're in round 6 and they love Clayton Tune, the quarterback from Houston, or God forbid it be Stetson Bennett from Georgia, or Jay Kaner from Fresno State. If you look at the Pro Football Focus quarterback rankings, maybe they're sitting there and they got a late day 3 pick and they go, yeah, that guy's on the board. We like him. We'll take him. Sure, that could happen. Absolutely could happen. Will it? Mike says no. I'm not so sure. I think a scenario where you could pick a day 3 quarterback, hopefully stash him on the practice squad. Jameis is here on a 1-year deal as your backup. If he's gone next year, you have a year to vet your number 2 or your number 3 to see if they could be your backup and a potential successor to Carr. It's the same situation that happened in San Francisco a year ago. They didn't need a quarterback. They didn't need Brock Purdy. They had Jimmy G and Trey Lance. They were good. They didn't need to draft a quarterback, but they liked the guy. They were sitting there in round 7. They're like, that guy at the last pick of the draft? Okay, take a flyer. And it worked. So I could see something similar unfolding for the Saints, day 3. All right, y'all. It's After Further Review. Love telling you about HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. That's us, your friends at HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. Yo, that awful weather that came through last week, our phones have been on fire all week over at HUDCO. It was just atrocious weather 2 Saturdays ago. The one that nearly cost LSU and Kentucky their game. It had to move back. But I want to remind you in particular, if you have or think you might have roof damage. A lot of people say, hey, I'm going to wait until a hurricane comes, storm season. I would strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to check your homeowner's insurance policy, because so often your named storm deductible is higher than your wind hail deductible. So if you had damage from that storm 2 weeks ago, it could actually cost you less to repair or replace your roof than it would if you waited until hurricane season. Could. So it's one of those things where it's just helpful to have a roofer and people that are experts and know this space. Let us give you a hand. Just give us a shot. We'll always give you a free, no obligation inspection. I mean, you don't even need to be home. It's just basically the green light to let someone come, get up on your roof, walk it, chalk it, mark it to see if there's any damage. If there is, great. We'll help you file a claim and get that thing approved and get you a new roof. And if not, awesome. You know you're ship shape for the coming storm season. Do business with someone you know. Ignore the door knockers. Trust a local company that's been around and will continue to be around. That's HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing and HUDCORoofing.com. All right, y'all. When we come back, we'll do a little Pluckers trivia here with Muse. Again, Muse, I think you're going to crash and burn today. Sorry to say it. Are you at all? Do you think that this is a ruse?
No, but I also don't think it really matters because normally anytime you say I'm going to do well, I don't. I said normally, not every time. Normally, last week was an exception. Went 2-1. You thought I'd do really well.
There was also the week you went undefeated, the wrestling trivia.
Yep.
Yeah. This is just one where I think you only have a shot.
That's
to get
in my wheelhouse, though.
Well, I knew, but I told you if you're going to do well, you only have a shot to get one. I think this week you have a legitimate shot to get one correct, and I don't think you're going to get it actually. But it's a baseball question, so it's why I think you might have a shot. You might dig into the recesses of your brain and find something, but I don't think you will actually. Okay, it's after further review. We'll find out with a little Pluckers trivia next with Muse.
AFR.
And this is actually the time where I get to remind you about Pluckers. Nicholson and Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV, and tonight and every Wednesday, Pluckers Trivia. Bluebonnet, 7:30. Nicholson, 8 o'clock. Get on by, get your team together, test your knowledge, 5 rounds, live action trivia. Remember, every team, even if you don't win a round, every team gets to spin the prize wheel. So every team's going to win something. Maybe it's free fruit at Pluckers. Maybe it's Amazon gift cards or other prizes from great retailers around town. It's a great night to get by Pluckers. Tons on TV tonight. You got Major League Baseball. You've got, count them, 4 NBA playoff games tonight, including 3 closeout games, closeout opportunities. You can watch them all tonight at Pluckers. Open until midnight or later every night of the week. It is the best place to watch the game. Which game? Any game. Remember, it's Pluckers, where, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TD to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, let's get to it here. It is a hump day. It is Pluckers Trivia Day. And every Wednesday here in hour number 3, we fire away some Pluckers Trivia questions at our guy, old Mussolini over there. Puff, puff, pass, Muse. Put it down. Put it down so that way we can get you these questions and we can get on
this ink pen? That's the only thing I'm holding, Matt. I don't really know what you're going for here. Mm-hmm. Lord. Give me the questions. Let's do this. Shock the world here.
Muse, you're going 0-3.
Baton Rouge.
You're going 0-3.
New Orleans and Alexandria.
You know what? I'm looking at this one, actually, Muse, the first one. And you may get this one.
Oh, now, all of a sudden. Okay. Was it my confidence? Is that what did it? When I was like, let's just do this.
No,
okay.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Muse.
Yeah.
In what 2011 movie does Ryan Gosling play a Hollywood stuntman who moonlights as a getaway driver?
Is that Drive?
Boom!
How about that, huh?
Shock the world!
Terrible movie, by the way.
You know
awful.
what?
Just awful.
I just looked at it, and it clicked in my brain. I went, 2011 is going to be his wheelhouse.
Terrible film.
Like, this was Muse.
Was high school, junior year?
Yeah, like.
Or actually, could have been early senior year. Could have been early senior year.
Because when I first looked at it, I went, I don't even know what that movie is.
It's awful.
And then,
Don't watch it.
I stopped and I went, this is his wheelhouse. This is when you do nothing but watch movies with your friends. It's like the only thing to do in Baton Rouge. You go to the movies.
Just terrible.
All right.
Would not recommend
Muse,
that one. This
is the one.
See? Look at this, huh?
This is the one I thought you had a chance to get.
Which means I'm going to bomb it, but go ahead.
Now, I am convinced.
You're convinced of what?
That number 3, you have no shot.
Okay.
But hell, you might surprise me. So let's go. Here's number 2. Fox's broadcast of Game 7 of the 2016 World Series attracted 40 million viewers. The largest national audience for Major League Baseball since Game 7 of the World Series in what year? Fox's broadcast of Game 7 of the 2016 World
Cubs
Series
Indians, yeah.
attracted 40 million viewers. The largest national audience for Major League Baseball game since Game 7 of the World Series in what year?
Great game, too, 2016 there.
I fell asleep.
Really? Well, it was late. The rain delay and everything, yeah. I'm going to say 2001 Yankees Diamondbacks.
That is a great guess.
That was a great game.
Shut up.
Come on, you know that was a great series in general.
It was. I was at games 4 and 5.
Hey,
in
there
the
you
Bronx.
go. What was it? I'm curious.
1991 Twins Braves. That's why I thought it might predate you a little bit. Well, it predates you.
Yeah.
But it was still like you. When I started to say it, you knew what it was. 2001 was a great answer, but that was on Sunday night.
That's true.
Which is a huge Sunday night. Sunday night is a huge television night. But that was also, you're going up against Sunday Night Football at that time, and that was actually that Sunday Night Football game was Saints Jets when Kyle Turley threw the helmet.
Huh.
That was that night. Yeah.
The split screen action? How were you split screening that? It's 01. I mean,
there was no split screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was probably just a flip back and forth thing.
Oh man.
And I was far more interested in Game 7 of the World
Oh yeah, of course. The 01 Saints. I mean, come on.
They won. 2000 was the year they won the first ever playoff game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 2000 though, not 01.
But my point is,
there
was interest in the team, and there was intrigue and build and all that sort of stuff. All right, finally, Muse. What, and this is the one I think you have no shot, but I will be genuinely surprised if you get it. But we'll see. Okay, what author published Go Set a Watchman in 2015? It was their first published novel in over 50 years.
What's it called? Go
Set a Watchman.
Go Set a Watchman. You're looking for the author.
The author.
F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Not correct. It would be Harper Lee is the answer that we're looking for. Harper Lee was the answer.
Never even heard of that person in my life. Yeah. I don't read. I'm not a reader.
Why I didn't think you get it.
Yeah.
And F. Scott Fitzgerald has been dead for nearly 100 years.
Yeah, he wrote The Great Gatsby, though. It's fine.
I'd like to point that out. Okay. So Muse goes 1 and 2. And again, I thought number 2 was the one you had a shot at. You took an educated guess. And number 3, you had no shot. 1 was my, upon first reading, my gross misinterpretation by not recognizing 2011 Muse in high school. Would you go to Tinseltown? What was the movie theater?
No, man. It was probably P Row, Perkins Row, or Grand Cinema. Oh, wow. At that point. Now it's Celebrity Theaters, right? I think, or something like that.
The Grand Cinema.
Yeah.
On George O'Neill.
Yeah, man. I mean, St. Michael's. You know, we
sure.
all lived.
So I lived in Shenandoah when that cinema was birthed, and it was originally Oak Cinema 8. I saw Dumb and Dumber there.
Okay.
Actually, in 1994. I believe Dumb and Dumber. It was during the summer.
Good movie.
It was during the summer. It was a matinee, and I laughed so hard at the poop scene that I was literally out of my chair on the floor laughing, crying. It was magnificent. Old Oak Cinema 8.
On the Florida movie theaters, that's bold, man. That's bold.
I mean, like on a knee. Like
still bold.
Like holding onto the chair in front of me on a knee.
And then you tried to stand up and your knee stuck to the floor.
Very likely.
Yeah, I mean.
Like it's one of those things where I actually remember sitting in the last row. Empty theater, just sat in the last row. I went with a buddy. Father, Paul Gross. Shout out. I lived on Mobile Drive. Paulie lived one street over. On Five Forks. So we lived we were back-to-back neighbors. And went to Oak Cinema 8 and watched Dumb and Dumber in 1994. There you have it. Now, I'm pretty sure that was 94. You can check me on it. Hey, Siri, what year was Dumb and Dumber released?
Dumb and Dumber was released on December 6th, 1994.
How you like me now, Muse? How you like me now? All right, it's after further review. Otter Locks next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. But I got to sing my guy's praises. Saw it early. Was talking to Darren earlier today on the phone, and I'd actually chatted with him just minutes after he got fantastic news that Darren James, yet again, the #1 realtor for eXp in the entire state of Louisiana. Darren is just, he's just a guy. You look at this graphic, the little 1 right there at the bottom, #1 for eXp Realty in the state of Louisiana. But it's not just Darren, his great team as well. There's a reason Darren is on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. The guy sells more homes than anybody. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Go to agent225.com, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz vans.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlock.
Otterlocks. Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the in need of a rebound, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
That's okay. All good cornerbacks. You got to put it behind you, baby. Just don't get beat off.
It was an 0-3 night for the Otters. So let's get it back tonight. Here we go.
When you lose a 6-0 game in baseball, 6-0 lead in baseball, you know it's not going to be good. Let's start off in baseball. The Seattle Mariners, Logan Gilbert, 7-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He's on fire. Soft line -115 against the struggling Phillies. The Washington Nationals of all teams, plus $1.80. The Kid Gore is the big pickup they got in the Soto deal. Pitching okay. They've been feisty. Hey, 1-3 of 4. I like them plus $1.80 with a better pitching matchup.
Not a stinky line there?
No. 180 is good.
Where am I looking here?
Against the Mets. Washington and Mets.
Okay, I'm looking at 185. Okay, good.
Okay, there you go. Even better. And then Sandy Alcantara, two starts back, he got bombed. That's affected all of his numbers. He is the guy that can go the distance. So instead of taking him first 5 at plus 05, he's already gone the distance in a complete game shutout against the Twins earlier this year.
Dog it! I played Thursday's game.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In Miami, so Miami plus $1.25. Seattle, Washington, and Miami. All right, the NBA tonight, we've got 3 situations where the teams are up 3-1 on the road. All 3 of those teams won the first game of the series on the road, and guess what? Exhaled. Even without Ja Morant, Memphis rolled L.A. Without Giannis, Milwaukee killed Miami. And, help me, the Cleveland in the second game, the one game that they blew out the New York. So if they exhaled and were satisfied, complacent with a 1-0 lead, what are they going to do with a 3-1 lead? All 3 of the bounce backs tonight, the desperation favorite at home, Bucks, Cavaliers, and Grizzlies. All of them big in the NBA.
So we're parlaying?
No. Straight bets.
Okay.
You can round robin them. You can parlay them. You can tie them up. I got you a straight trifecta for the draft tomorrow.
We're going ATS here, or we're going money lines.
No. Minus the point.
All right.
Minus the
I'm
point.
just clarifying here, Otter. I'm trying to do a lot of things all at once, okay? I got it.
Great. I'm a little excited. It's the eve of the draft.
All right.
It is Island Hanny.
Are you?
It is. Show me the money.
I need to know what I need to know what I'm betting on tomorrow for the draft.
All right. Here's one for you. So we'll have plenty before we start tomorrow. But here's your straight trifecta. Bryce Young first.
Okay.
Ty Wilson second. Harris Johnson third. That pays 7-1 plus 700. But I also have Will Anderson at the second pick plus 450.
I'm sorry, what? Okay.
Listen, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go to Don Juan tomorrow and do the show, okay? In all due respect to Mr. Juan, Senior Juan, I own that joint on draft day.
I gotta go. All right. Real quick, where are you?
Walk-ons, Burbank.
All right, walk-ons, Burbank. We'll see you tomorrow. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have a great night.
AFR.
Getting on down the road, remind you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffery in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. There are precious few days remaining. If you need urgency, this is it. Remember, we've been telling you all this month about the Evolve X body contouring treatment, the latest, the greatest, the newest. You've heard about all the old ones that have been around for a long time. You want the newest, latest, greatest technology? It's Evolve X. It's only at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. All this month, just for the month of April, introductory pricing on Evolve X treatments. So you're thinking beach, pool, want to look my best, trouble spots, lower abdomen, flanks, your love handles, butt, thighs, diet and exercise, not taking care of it. Evolve X will. Special pricing this month only. You've only got through Friday. So get over there. Online, theantiagingclinics.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring. Wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville or NOLAFlooring.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support